got Darren yet. No, he's still tapping.
Looks like we're live. Hi, everybody. We're live. We're live. Oh, my God. It's all going to go wrong. We are live. Apparently, according to this company, called Google, who make this thing called YouTube, it says you're live on my computer screen. So if that's true...
Yeah, well, the notifications just come up.
Please say hello. Wagoo's there. G'day. Nice kangaroo. Sonic Neutronic, good morning to you. Good afternoon to Axel Soft. Hello to Wayne. And that is it so far. So, yes. Wayne Murray.
Yeah, is that a new name? Don't think we've seen Wayne before, have we? Hello, Wayne.
If you're new, Wayne, big warm welcome to you. I've got a feeling he has been here before, though. I have a feeling. Let us know if you've been here before, Wayne, because, you know, there's been so many people that have come through here. Sergio's here. Hello. Sergio. Anyway, we've been, yeah, so let's do a little mic test. Darren, how's your failing mic test going right now? No, it's failing. Okay. You know what? I reckon we should... Andy, are you using the beta? The beta? I gave you the beta website, didn't I?
I just followed the link.
Yeah, cool.
You sent me in.
I might give Darren the beta website. Darren, in the call chat, that we have going here, I'm going to post you a link. I'm actually typing this manually, so I don't typo it. So instead of using the one that you usually use that. See how it's got beta.vmixcall.com? Use that one. It's got some new features. They're trying some new stuff out, and that might actually give you the option to select your microphone when you see that there's a little settings cog. There's a whole bunch of new features. Give that a whirl, mate. Restart your browser session. We've got time. It's 12 minutes before the show starts. Doesn't matter that the people here. I can't hear you, so we could wear white gloves and do French mime. Paint a door, open the door, walk through it. Dear. Michael Elliott, hello everyone. Good to see everyone here anyway. It's a wonderful Saturday. I love Saturdays. Mr. Mac is there. You have to read his name second and then first. Just so you guys know, you get told off if you don't.
What about calling him Mac Mister rather than
Yeah, I called him
Mac
Mac Mister and he told me off. No, I'm just kidding. He's cool. Top of the afternoon. Yes, top of the afternoon to you, mate.
Hi, Mac.
Now, Mr. Wagoo, you are a very, very nasty man. I don't like you. You're not very nice at all. You've done something to me. It's called influenced. So, no, I'm just kidding, mate. You're awesome. Why is that? Yeah, I hit the buy button on the Argon 8M, so it's on its way. Yeah. I was sold. That show we watched the other day, absolutely sold. Even that was a train wreck of a show. Not from what Nick was doing, but from the other guy. But it just looks really, really cool. So yeah, very excited about that. Greetings, Mr. Michael B.
Did you hear his Friday fun thing with the Argon 8 and...
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
8M?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it sounded good.
Yeah, he had... Well, Jackson, the guy who was from Modal. He was... I can't remember exactly what he was using.
Oh, was that like a proper demo of it?
Yeah, he was using this software on his Mac called ManyCam, and then he was using this audio hack called Soundflower, which I've used before. Soundflower is notorious for lag because it's a computer program that captures audio and then resends it. So there's always going to be lag when you've got something, I'm listening and then it's kind of notorious for that. I think Black Hole is the one to get if you're looking at that sort of software-based audio routing sort of wizardry on Mac. But yeah, he used many cams, so you could have multiple cameras, and Soundflower, and yeah, it just ended up being a complete train wreck. But it wasn't anything that Nick was doing; it was all his done.
Well, he did like a Friday fun, just him with the Argonaut and a couple of the little the little Pittsburgh 3390 ZQRMT, which sounded absolutely gorgeous. I mean, that thing sounded fabulous. I thought, oh, really quite well. It's just I always end up wanting to buy more stuff. I'm not going to buy anything now.
I can't stand this.
I can hear you, Darren.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear me?
There we go, Darren, you're there. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can hear you whinging, mate.
What were you whinging about then?
He was about to spit the dummy.
I was just going to throw everything out the window. It's baking hot in here.
I've had to shut my window because of the traffic. The traffic going by outside was just so loud. They're using the long straight road behind where I live as a practice route for the TT races. I think the guys on the motorbikes.
Oh, you got like
I've got
the ring ding 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 all day long. G'day, Couch Cancer.
And the window open.
G'day, Marcus, and also g'day, Dark Polar Music. Very fantastic. Topic today is right up my alley. Awesome. You need to go soon. Well, you can always watch it later, mate. It's sad to see you go, but there's a couple of cool things that this is just for Dark Polar Music, just before you do disappear. So there's a video already up on my channel which has got the VCF module. I'm going to be showing. We're going to be, ask me to do anything other than blow them up, because I've got them here ready to go. That's going to be today. And also, sitting in the queue ready to be released is the VCA video. So that should be popping out sometime in the next few hours. I don't know, I can't remember what time it was, but you'll be all bearing and moduled out by the end of probably by the end of today. I don't know where you are in the world, but yeah, hopefully that fulfills your need. Roland, Roland. Yes, that's right. Yes. So let's just quickly test all the mics. Now we never got. Dazza said he was going to come on, and I never got an answer from him. So I've just put the chatties there on the bottom.
He's probably fell asleep.
He probably fell asleep. Anyway, let's have a look at your audio there,
Is it
Darren.
like 2 a.m. where he is?
No, it's midnight. Not even midnight yet. Almost.
All right.
It's not too bad. Geez, if you can stay up Saturday night, have a couple of frothies. Darren, just give me a little sentence. I just want to check your audio.
Right. You can hear me.
Yep.
A few things. I may be leaving for a few minutes because I have a parcel arriving.
That's fine.
So
is it an exciting?
Yes, exactly.
Does it vibrate?
It is an exciting. No, well, it might do.
We're getting unboxed.
No, it isn't exciting.
We
Yeah, it'll be live. It's supposed to be here. What time is it now? But should be here before past. I'm hoping. So
Dark Polar Music is located in Norway. Fantastic. It's awesome.
Am I too loud?
So just bear this in mind. Right now, I'm talking to you all the way from probably the opposite side of the planet. If you actually were to sort of drill from the northern hemisphere all the way down and pop out on the sort of total opposite side of the southern hemisphere, you'd probably come out to where I am, which is a place called Australia. Fantastic. I love this sort of stuff. It's cool. John Shea is from Brizzy, or Shea, John Shea, probably. Nice to see the Brizzy people in because it's getting close to midnight. Yeah, Brizzy people, Brisbane. Nice to have the Aussies in, that's for sure.
Are you in Perth, Ramses? Did you say you're in Perth?
I'm in Perth.
The West
Australia.
West Coast.
Yes.
Is Brisbane on the other? Brisbane's the other side, isn't it?
Brisbane's on the east. Yeah.
That's actually a very long way between the two.
Yeah, it's about a 5-hour flight, if I remember rightly. 4.5, 5-hour flight. Yeah. So it's about the same.
That's
it's about the same if you were flying from New York to LA. It's about the same. That's kind of gives you a bit of an appreciation.
We don't have perception of distance, or our perception of distance is very, very different. Like, people think that, I'm an idiot for driving 50 minutes in the morning to get to work. I'm driving 40 miles, just under 40 miles to get to work, and people think, "Oh, you're going? Why do you have to drive that far?" It's actually really, realistically, not that far. I mean, in the United States, people drive 3 hours just to go and have breakfast somewhere.
Yeah.
We don't have that. And, of course, at its narrowest point, it's like only 60 miles from one side to the other.
Yeah.
At the sort of Hadrian's Wall area, it's very narrow up there. So
yeah, well, it's about
we don't have that sort of...
It's sort of like don't go crazy and, sleep on the side of the road. As long as you're just, staying in a motel, resting properly, getting your proper rest, without having driver fatigue. It's about a 2-day drive to the nearest city of over 1 million people from where I live, and that's Adelaide. So that gives you an idea of how far away I am from everything.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is just complete ocean, Indian Ocean for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, miles and miles.
Mr. Max saying if I had storms here last week, yes, we did. We had a potential cyclone which was heading our way, but by the time it got probably about 300-400 k's off of the shore, it sort of just ended up being a heavy low system. So it did give us a bit of wind. I think they were thinking that it was going to be a lot worse, so we were batting down the hatches, but it wasn't that bad actually. A lot of rain though, a lot of rain. Filled my swimming pool up. I don't mean from empty. I mean like, how evaporation, it drops a little bit, it filled it back up.
We haven't had any rain for like 3 months nearly.
If you are watching and you're brand new, just know this is what we call the pre-show. So the pre-show is for the first 15 minutes, we just sort things out, get people in, chat for a bit. On the hour, or on the half an hour if you live in somewhere else, we start the actual show. You'll see it start in about 2 minutes' time. I was going to say, someone said they were from Brazil. Where did I see that? It disappeared. Sergio said he's from Brazil. That's awesome. I feel sorry for you guys at the moment, though. Your president seems to be being a bit of a douche with his handling of things, according to the news anyway. I don't know if they've reported that correctly, but it does seem a little bit crazy things that he's been saying about calling COVID-19 just another flu. I think that's a little bit of an understatement. Inverted Popes is here. Good to see you. Inky is also here. Nice to see you, Inky. That's about it so far. Yeah, so see, Sergio is agreeing. Good man. You stick up for yourself, mate. Don't let those idiots push you around down there in Brazil. That's actually a really big country. A lot of people don't realise how big Brazil is. It's a massive country. Mr. Breaker 101 just popped in, just snuck in and said hi. Well, we're saying hi to you. About 1 minute away before the show starts. So maybe you need to put your seatbelt on. I don't know. Goggles, gloves. Just be careful. We're about to go for a ride. Finn's here. Good to see you, Finn. Right. You guys are ready, aren't you? I will warn you, today might be a little bit more than might be a little bit PG today. I will warn you. So if you get easily offended, we'll warn you just before it does happen. But I don't think you guys don't get offended.
What on earth are you planning?
Well, you'll
it's
find
going
out,
off music.
You'll find out very, very soon. I'm not going to take my clothes off if that's what you're worried about.
I might. It's that hot in here.
Barramundi's just turned up. All right, let's get this going. Let's get this going. Here we go. Boom. Top of a Saturday to you, and welcome to another live stream. And we're here every Saturday at this time, and whether it's in daylight savings time in your zone or not, It is 2 p.m. UTC time every Saturday. So awesome that you're here. And if you're new here, a very, very special warm welcome to you. If you're wondering what this is all about and someone said, hey, go watch this idiot from Australia called Ramsey, well, it's about kind of music technology, and it's about users like me and you. We use gear like synths and drum machines and sequencers, and we're talking about it from a non-commercial, non-sort of paid viewpoint. We're just everyday musicians who are mucking around, whether it's hobby, whether it's serious, and we are here to gas bag about the cool stuff. But without further ado, I'd like to say hello to everybody that's here. And we've got Darren and Andy. Let's start with Darren. How you going, Darren? How was your week? You had a birthday week.
Yes, I did. Well, last week, a week today, isn't it?
Did you get lots of presents?
No, but I have something arriving in the next, I'm hoping 20 minutes actually. So I will be leaving for a few minutes to collect this parcel, which will be, Inky might be interested in it. So yes, that'll be arriving. Secondly, it's been absolutely, I don't get much time in the studio now I'm back at work, which is a good thing in one way because I can spend a little bit of money, but bad thing in another way to get stuff done. So the thing that's ordered is probably something you wasn't expecting me to get. But I'll explain later. And the other thing is, and Andrew's sample that he sent me last week, whilst I think we were still on the show actually when he sent it me across, to do a track with his sample for tomorrow, which is virtually next to finished. A few more fine tweaks. So I need to ask Andrew about that as well at some point in the show, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Well, speaking of Andrew, let's say good day to Andy. There he is. How's your week been?
Hi, everyone. A bit quieter, actually, because it's been school half term. So I've not had to get up at silly o'clock to set lessons and things this week, but I've still got plenty of schoolwork to be doing. It's been quite a nice week. I've done some sort of rearranging in here of stuff. I bought myself a few little bits and bobs and had to do a bit of rewiring because of that, which is always a bit annoying, but had to be done. I met up with an old friend of mine yesterday, socially distanced, of course, and he's taken loads of really quite wonderful and slightly scary photographs of Sheffield during lockdown. It's like deserted streets in the city centre. And he's been contacted to say that these are significant photographs, and the Sheffield Historical Society or somebody like that would like to do some kind of exhibition with it. Either an exhibition that people can visit or possibly an online thing, but he'd like me to do some music for it. So I've had a commission. So I've had a sort of get some music done on it. And oddly enough, that's just the sort of thing I need, rather than just sitting here noodling about, to say, right, I'd like this, and this is when it needs to be done by, is just what I need. So I've been sort of messing about making some interesting sounds and trying to find some samples to get things going with that. So yeah, quite excited by that little project.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. All right, and also we're also going to say a nice big hello to all the chatties who join us every week, and they're just as important as our ugly faces. So let's say good day to everybody. Now, I have mentioned most people who are here already, but I'm just going to do it because why not? We'll start off with Wagoo. Big hello to you. Sonic Neutronic, Axel Soft Music, Wayne Murray, Sergio, Michael Elliott, Mr. Mac, who else? Michael B, and Dark Polar Music was there before. I don't know if he's still here, but hello to you. Couch Camper, good to see you. Marcus from Greece, awesome to see you, buddy. John Shea from Brizzy, good to see you. Inverted Popes is in, nice to see you too, mate. Inky's there. Who else have we got? 888 Bergs there, it's good to see you, matey. A big long list here. And if I do forget your name, like I say every week, just throw your synth at the screen in disgust, because that's just not on. We can't have me missing out on people. That's just terrible. And did I say Mr. Breaker 101? I think I did, but anyway, I'd say you get it twice. Finn's there. Wow, Barramundi. Scrolling. and I think we're just about getting to the end. Now, if I did, yeah, like I said, John's just popped in. Tom from Dublin, he's awesome. All right, good to see you, buddy. Anyway, so there is the chatties. We shall go back to this little view here, and this is all of us. So the chatties are below. You got Darren there, and you got Andy there. Now, we were supposed to have one other guest today, but he's fallen asleep. So we'll just leave that one. We'll leave that one. Now, if you are new to the show, we do a couple of regular segments on the show, which everybody hates, and that's why I keep punishing you every week with the same segments. So bad luck if you don't like it. So let's roll the stinger for the first one. That was a very quick stinger, that one. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, welcome to the funny side, and I think I've been saying recently, this is the end of the internet where things fall off and aren't very funny at all. So starting off with the not very funny first meme that I found, it's this one. Someone's decided to redesign the Octatrack. It's like a madman's dream, this one, isn't it? Hey, look at that. Like, honestly, would you use that? Someone's going to say, oh no, that's awesome. That's brilliant. Yes, it's got a bigger screen. Yeah, but they still kept the little screen on it. Someone might like all the sliders, but yeah, yeah, that's a madman's dream, that one. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Someone decided to redesign the Octatrack. And yes, if you're wondering, I do have an Octatrack, so I'm entitled to rubbish it as much as I want. Moving right along. This one came in from one of our usual regulars, and I like this one. You want to learn accordion, and you've got the rip-off tags down the bottom. No thanks. Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah. Now, I was warning you before that the show is going to be a little bit PG today. And if you're wondering why it's going to be a little bit PG, and it's because we have this fantastic person who regularly sends me stuff, and his name's Xils Music. He's there in the chat room. He's been very, very naughty this week, and we're gonna look. I'm just gonna say, look, this is his content, and he's asked me to show it. So just a little disclaimer there, just in case people get offended. We'll start with this one. Inky might remember the little pink MS-101 or MS-1 synth that had the special handle. Well, Anna at Behringer's just posted a video showing how to use this handle. We've had to you know, censor the footage, unfortunately. But anyway, well done, Axel. Very, very well done. And it gets worse. Yes, it does, because apparently there's an ad for him. Dear me. Oh dear. CV Viagra, hey? Yes. And only 19 inches will work. Hey, well, we're doing iron luck because we've got the Argon 8, haven't we, coming? Well, he's got it, and I've got it coming anyway, and not proverbially. Gentlemen, I haven't quite finished yet because it actually gets worse. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm actually nervously laughing or not because you haven't seen this, and I have. Dearie me, here we go. Now, maybe I should explain it a little bit. Okay, when you watch a YouTube video and it's from another country, you know how there's this feature on there where you can have closed caption, you know, translations, and you can set it to automatically work out what language it is and translate it into your language. Well, we all know this guy. Now, this guy I'm a very big admirer of, so this is absolutely no... if you are watching this, please forgive me. Here we go.
ここに私の音色実はアップしてます。今までの音色。これどういったものかというと、こういったねモンタージュも含めその、ね、MODX とかいろんな音色、いろんなねこう CP とか、毎週もあるね。リフェイスとか。これらの音色。
You had to be very, very paying attention. I think that they've just seen it now. You had to be paying attention. Did you see it, Andy?
Oh, yes.
I might actually mention what it actually said, but now I have actually tested this out. This is not someone just mucking around with Adobe Premiere and, you know, cutting and pasting some text. This actually did work. So it crazy. There you go. Google Translate, it's getting itself out of the gutter this week. But anyway, gentlemen, how did we go with Funny Side this week? Was it a bit risky?
Well, I'm going to jump in straight away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As a trained linguist, that, you know, and I spent a long time on translation courses and things. It does my nuts in that people think that computers can deal successfully with language all the time. They can't. There is no subtlety, and that's just proving the point. Google Translate actually works quite nicely in the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing, but if somebody just takes it for what it is, it just spits out, well, garbage basically. So you've got to be very, very careful with it. But you do get funny things like that. That's always worth a chuckle. So I've said my bit about the translating.
It was a great find. So Xils-labs, well done, mate. That was definitely worth a laugh. And if we've offended anyone, just throw your synth at the screen in disgust. Darren, what did you think?
Yeah, that was great. Definitely. I see you was wondering whether it'd be all right for your channel, but yeah.
I got big shoulders. I'll survive. And if they don't like it, then bad luck. It's not like I've got 1 million subscribers or anything. All right, moving right along. Next segment is news, and we've got some really cool news this week. As short stinky as this week, it's bizarre. Anyway, so if you are new and you're thinking to yourself, what could possibly be news? I mean, I've already seen all the news. Well, you never know. I might actually show you something that you haven't seen. And in fact, let's start with this one. I actually think the news this week is pretty good. Let me grab my special notes, otherwise I'll stuff up. All right, we'll start with this one. This is the Electro E64. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's a portable synth sequencer. It looks like a gaming controller, don't you reckon? Well, actually, it's been based on that sort of design on purpose, and it features an 8x8 look at that little LED matrix. It's kind of like the AKS Synthy, from EMS, doesn't it? It looks a little bit like that. Well, it does have a bit of music theory in this, and apparently it comes, well, the developer said it's coming from the Rubik's Cube on how this is going to work. Now, that might sound, what? a bit crazy. Apparently, it's not that hard to use. There is kind of like a twist and rotate sort of editing thing around 33 parameters on this, and the Cube matrix offers some deep modulation, and it includes a digital wavetable engine, which is awesome. 32-bit processor for those who like the geeky stuff, with 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz. That's not so great, but it's still decent CD sort of quality. 12-voice polysynth. Each has 2 oscillators. It has a library of 128 custom waveform shapes, and you can import your own as well. You can also wave blend, which is what I like, between 2 A and B layers, so that's really cool. And it can also be modulated. And best of all, it's battery powered. So, without further ado, let's have a little look at the video. Is this? No, this is not the right video. Why did that happen? That is weird. There we go. And we're going to play or what? Here we go. Here we go. It's a bit of an intro to how it works. We can skip that, and I think we just want to have a look at it work. Whoa. So I might leave it like that. I might leave it like that for now. Where are we? We are on news. Make sure we get that back. Yeah, so that was the Electro E64. I actually think it's pretty cool. Now, I know I didn't really show a lot of the video. It's a really long video. It goes for about 21 minutes. But when you finish watching this, there's a link in the description of this video where you can just literally click straight onto that and go watch it. What do you think, guys? Do you reckon that's interesting? I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty intuitive. You guys seen anything like it?
I'd end up playing Snake on it. Yeah, I don't know. I quite like it. I don't know why. Yeah, I quite like it. But like I say, I can end up playing games on the LEDs, like Snake or something like that. But I don't know. It's interesting, different. So, thumbs up for that.
Andy?
Yeah, actually, hello there. I quite like the idea of that one for some reason. These sort of chip-tuney things are not always my thing, but there was something about that made me go, "Oh, that's interesting." So I'll watch the video later because I haven't seen it or heard anything about it, so I can't really comment on it other than what you've just seen. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out because that looks quite like a quite fun little box.
Well, I've got a little bit more information for you here about it. So let's just bring it up again. That's not funny side. That's the wrong one. There we go. It's priced at 310 euros. Shipping, it's like a little Kickstarter project. So they're shipping the first 20 around about mid-June, so about 2 weeks' time. You can get onto it if you want. It's an Etsy listing. So I don't know if you guys have ever bought anything from Etsy, but it is an Etsy listing. So the link is going to be available for you guys if you want to check that out. But 310 euros, yeah, I kind of feel that there's a lot of development in this. So that may or may not seem like good value to you, but go check out when you finish watching this show, of course, and you'll see what I mean. There's a lot of development in this. So you'll sort of appreciate why it is the price it is. Anyway, let's move right along. We've got more to show. And I did kind of sneak peek this before. This one's for you, Darren, or whoever's interested in Eurorack, myself. This is by Recovery Effects. It's Bad Comrade version 3. They've been around for a while, these ones, but if you are interested in Eurorack or you maybe you want to start getting involved in Eurorack, this show's pretty much about Eurorack today, and you like to do crazy glitches and kind of weird delays and that sort of distorted effect, that sort of kind of mangled stuff. These modules are for you. They're 4HP modules. They offer broken textures, glitches and raw distortions, and even spooky echoes, which I don't mind. Great for industrial sort of sounds, that sort of stuff. They're only $99 US, these, and there is a video, which I did sneak before. So let's have a look at the video. That's not the video. Why the hell did that happen? I don't get why these buttons aren't working. Sorry, guys. Apologies. Anyway, that is the Recovery Effects Bad Comrade version 3. Available now, I believe. I said no before, $99 US. Gentlemen, what do you think of that one?
Well, Darren, it's Eurorack.
Yeah, it'd be something. It'd be something I'd probably chuck in just to dirty stuff up, I think. And they're not expensive, is they? So, and like I say, is it 4 HP? So you get a room for that. So yeah, it's something I'd probably look at.
I could squeeze that in my little spot here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you did say you're going PG.
Well, I'm just talking about. I was just talking about that spot there. Sorry. If you got something else on your mind, Darren, you want to share it with us? Okay, Andy, what do you think?
That was nasty. Not what you've just said to Darren. It was.
Always nasty to Darren.
It sounded like. I think Chris Carter put out a load of Eurorack modules, sort of gristalizers, the things that he sort of like throbbing gristle style. So back to them again, but really sort of nasty sounding things. So if you really need that sort of real messed up distortion, that sounds like it delivers.
I think Darren's trying to tell us something.
Yeah. It looks like his mystery box that I think we all know what it is has arrived.
All right, we'll keep going with the news.
We should have a sweepstake on that. What do we reckon he's got, by the way? I reckon he's got an
Yeah, that's
NPC.
a great idea. That is an excellent idea. Okay, in chat, Guys, I want you to all predict what he's got. He's going to open it today on the stream, so everyone has to predict what Darren's going to have. And no Schrodinger cats jokes, okay? Because we did that last Wednesday. All right, let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, boom. Did you guys see this one? Fred's Lab, Turo. Geez, I'm coming up with some interesting ones this week, aren't I? Turo. 12-bit hybrid desktop synth with crunchy sounding digital morphing oscillators and analog filters. So that's nice. Yes, I do have a video. I don't actually have much more information. I haven't had really a big chance to check this out. So if the video doesn't work, just blame me. Here we go.
Salut tout le monde. Oui, on est encore.
Yes. Okay, we need to get to...
La troisième section est pour les deux enveloppes afin d'étendre les possibilités. Donc ici, c'est l'enveloppe rouge qui est sélectionnée. Donc ça correspond à l'enveloppe de filtre. On va plutôt utiliser l'enveloppe de l'amplificateur et on va rajouter du release de sorte à donner corps à notre nappe. Alors on va descendre peut-être un petit peu en octave. Raisonnable, voilà. Et une fois que la modulation est programmée, donc le délai est stéréo. Hein.
There's definitely analog filter in that. It's quite nice. Well, anyway, that is the Fred's Lab El Turo. This thing. Does that thing sound interesting to you, Andy, while I got you there?
Yeah, like the sound of that. Yeah,
it did take a while to get to doing something decent with that video, but yeah, in the end it sounded good.
The sounds at the beginning were all right. And of course, anything that's got more umlauts than strictly necessary always gets a thumbs up from me, but that was, that sounded really good. I think, again, that's something else to check out. I quite like the idea that it's 12-bit rather than 16-bit. Again, just to give the sort of more crunchy sort of
the late
feel
80s.
To it. So.
Yeah, the late 80s. Now that is only €379. It's kind of small. I like those things though. I know there's people around that say, "Oh, these boxes are getting tiny." I like them because you know, if it's full of really, really cool things, we aren't taking up too much of our desk space. And believe it or not, you know, our desk space is limited. So I do have one more news item. Okay, Darren, before you steal the show, I do have one more news item. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is a bit nerdy, but I actually think this is actually cool news.
Blimey.
This is a company called Sound Semiconductors, and they have recreated and improved the original SSM. You guys would have heard of this filter, the SSM, the famous SSM filter. So that's, for those playing along at home, if you didn't know what the SSM filter was, it was in things like anything that Dave Rossum pretty much touched. The EMU emulators, what else was it in? Guys in chat will be able to tell us.
The original Prophet 5.
The original Prophet 5, yeah, the SP1200 was in that. Look, this chip was really, really cool. Now, the thing about it was they stopped making it, and this company, Sound Semiconductors, have remade it. It's called the SSI 2140, and it's actually got all the features that the original had, so you'll be able to recreate everything, plus they've offered some new features in here. So you can actually buy this yourself. So if you're in a DIY sort of eurorack or making your own modules and stuff, you can actually buy this and make your own modules with SSM filters in it. And I think that's awesome. And they're actually really cheap. They're about $1 each if you're buying them in quantities. Wow. So offers this thing called a QVCA, which it's basically a temperature compensation thing for the easy control of resonance. Now, with the original SSM chip, the resonance was a little bit, this was actually the character of it, the resonance was a little bit sort of crazy. And some people liked it, some people hated it. And the cool thing about this is that you can actually tame the resonance if you want to, or you don't have to. So it's got this QVCA thing in here. So, you know, it's just, I think it's really cool how they're reintroducing these old chips, because I think it gives now opportunities for Eurorack modules and stuff to come out, and we can now start to hear some of those famous sounding filters back again in a newer sort of format. And I also think it's good that they've done that QVCA with the temperature compensation, because, yeah, the filter was... One of the problems was that you'd set the filter, turn your synth off, come back to it the next day, turn your synth back on, let it warm up for 10 minutes, and it would sound different every time. And that would do people's heads in. So that was kind of one of the things. Plus, it would also change, even if you turned it on and waited for 10 minutes, it would change. So there was all these kind of things that people didn't like about it. So that's just an example. I mean, there's plenty of others. But, yeah, that's the news. Now, Darren,
if it's that cheap, it's going to be cropping sorts of things, isn't it? I mean, new Eurorack modules, people are going to be ordering them to put in their synths and things. It'll be a good thing. I mean, like I know Behringer had remade the 3340 oscillators, and people have been using that particular chip in various things. Then to have the SSM filter as well, I think that's a...
We had.
I had no idea what that electronic stuff was all about. I've no idea. It means nothing to me. But I'm sure that those who know. I mean, Inverted Popes has just said he's getting into self-build. Yeah, but if people can do that sort of thing, it'll be right up their street. I'm sure they'll be snapping them up. Yeah,
well, I mean, that's what that's why I bring it to the news, because you've got Cool Audio, which Behringer owned, and you mentioned before they were doing the Curtis stuff. You've got Vive. Or X5, and as you guys may, if you follow my shows, you will know that I've bought the famous Juno Bucket Brigade delay from those guys. So they've remade the 3309, which was the old Panasonic chip, and now you've got the SSM, which is the old Dave Rossum chip. So by what are they called? Sound Semiconductors. So, you know, it's and you don't buy it from Sound Semiconductors, you buy it from your normal Mauser or DigiKey, you know, those sort of places where you buy all your resistors and capacitors from. All right. Do we want to go to Darren's opening?
Oh, I think so. We're all on pins now, aren't we?
Okay, before Darren opens it, let's get a quick...
I thought you was doing your Eurorack.
No, we'll do your opening.
We've done a sweepstake on what's in your box.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll miss out on what's in the box. Now, we've got a few suggestions here. OP1. We've got Wagyu thinks it's a box in a box. Azio thinks it's a memory Moog.
Memory Moog.
Yeah, it's not big enough for a memory Moog.
I think he was suggesting the chips with synths.
Someone said it was
an chip.
Someone said it was an MPC. 888 Berg said it was what the Japanese translation said. I'm not going to say it. Wagyu said it's an Argon 8M. Well, you know that I'm getting one, so maybe it's one of those. A Donkey Jaw from Xils-labs, maybe a Quijada.
That's what it is, a Donkey Jaw.
An MS1 PK. If you don't know what that is, you're better off. MPC Live, vibrating MS101. Oh my god. Anyway, without further ado, come on, open it up. Let's have a look. Here we go.
Right, because I don't spend much time in the studio at the moment, and I need something that's not expensive. So it's definitely not expensive. So the Moog's definitely out.
Well, it's not big enough, is it?
No.
Unless it's a Roland Moog, Roland boutique Moog.
And I need to get stuff down sometimes, so it has to be cheap, it has to be mobile, and it has to be something that I probably wasn't ever going to go for. Let's get it out of the box.
This is his birthday
present. And it's what Enki likes.
It's Circuit!
Oh!
Yay! Inky's going to go nuts.
Yay!
Oh, now we're all circuit owners.
I'm not. Have I got to go buy one now?
You won't regret it. You won't regret it. It's an awesome machine. Awesome. Yay. All right.
Now we're basically so I can get stuff down.
Now we're gonna hear some circuits in his. Learn the first thing to do is learn the sequencer. Learn the sequencer. That's the best thing to do. Learn the sequencer first, and then start mucking around with everything else after. Just once you've got the sequencer down pat, that thing becomes so easy to use. And yeah, you got Inky to what the hell's that noise? You got Inky.
It had to be battery operated, you see, because I can take this to work when I have like dinner times and things like that. So, because the way things have gone now, it's not quite the same. So, to sit and do nothing and to have something that's battery operated and get ideas down, because I don't get as much time like I've been in lockdown in the studio.
Yeah.
And that's what I decided to go for.
Awesome.
So I could have got a Behringer or anything like that, but it had to be something like a little groove box that was mobile.
You have resisted the Behringer, I will admit. You have resisted it. Well, that's cool. I like a little bit of unboxing. And it's not, if you're ever wondering if you've watched this show only for a couple of times and you think to yourself, wait, they're doing unboxing, they've got news, they've got everything. It's not the first time we've done unboxing on this show, I can tell you that. And Darren's done it before. All right, let's move right along to the next segment, which is, this is the greatest stinger in the world. Yes, that's right, everyone. We're going to look at some scams. We might look at some prices as well. Yes, that's right. You've come to the place where I've done some research this week. And yes, these fantastic deals have fallen on my lap. If you want to buy a Circlon, £3,000, do you? What do you reckon, guys? Is that a good deal? Now, this is a legitimate listing, okay? A legitimate listing. £3,000, which is 6,000 Australian dollars if you're playing along where I'm living. $142 per month if you want to get it on eBay finance, or £50 for postage. That's not bad for postage. That is a rack-mounted, 19-inch rack-mounted thing. That's for you, Axel. So you can rack mount that in your 19-inch. Andy, what do you think? £3,000? Is that worth it?
Well, it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate sort of standalone sequencer. It is a thing of beauty to me. I would love one, but they're so expensive, and the waiting list for them is like 2 years. So I suspect that if someone's desperate to get their hands on one, they might be willing to cough up that sort of money, because people who've put their name down on the waiting list are prepared to pay, £1,700 to buy one anyway, because I think they cost something like that. So
but that's brand new.
It's the supply and demand that they are fairly rare and they are sought after. So it's not as stupid a price, but it's way out of my price league. I could never afford to splash money out like that on something.
Yeah,
I would love to.
Now I kind of, I'll go to you, Darren, in a sec, but I kind of I wanted to show you the Circlon one because it's kind of a thing that happens, and you've picked it exactly the reason why I showed it, Andy, and that is that if you've got something and they're still making them, so like you said, it was about £1,700, or actually don't know, I can't remember, but I think I worked out it was about 2,000 US, somewhere around there. So that's brand new. You can still buy them, but like you said, there's a waiting list, there's problems, blah blah blah. If you're too excited and you've got to get one tomorrow, then those sort of deals will come across your desk, and people will want to buy those things, right? Now, there was one that I saw today on Facebook. You know how Facebook has those gear sale groups that you can join? A guy was selling an OP1. I don't want to show this listing because the guy probably watches my show. Dear. He was trying to sell his OP1 and he bought it a month ago for $1,890 Australian, and he was selling it on Facebook for $1,850 Australian, and he thought that it was nice of him just to take $40 off for having it for a month. And I put the famous GIF of the famous movie from Australia called The Castle, where they go through the classified ads, and there's the old fella, he goes, "Tell them they're dreaming." So that was my reaction to that. He didn't take it too well though. But this is kind of why I show these things, because how desperate are we? I was going to say, Darren, did you want to have a quick word about the Circlone?
Well, pretty much what Andy said, really.
Okay, short and sweet, fantastic. Darren wants to go and play with his circuit. He's itching to go open it up. All right, next one. Don't worry, there's not many. Jupiter 8. Wow. Hey? Who likes Jupiter 8s? Well, this is a real Jupiter 8. Now, this one's in Australia. And if you are in Australia, you can buy this Jupiter 8 for 24,000 Australian dollars. This guy's serious listing. So what's that? £12,000? That is probably not that bad, actually. That is probably what people can sell them for. It depends on how good they are. I've seen them go mostly cheaper than that, but that is not completely out of this world. I'd be interested to hear what people think about that. Is £12,000 a lot for a Jupiter 8, considering that you can't get these anymore? Roland are refusing to make them. What do you guys think?
Just makes me cry that I had the chance to buy one for £600. And
wow, £600.
Well, I said it. I'm sure I said it the other week. There was around 93, 94. I had the opportunity to buy a Jupiter 8 for £600 and a mini Moog for 400, and just didn't have the money. I was fresh out of university. I hadn't got 2 brass farthings to rub together, so I couldn't. I just bought the W30, so I couldn't. I had no more money left to go out and buy anything else. Oh, yeah. If only. It's one of those if only things. You know?
I think Andy. I think Darren's probably thinking to himself, well, if the Jupiter 8 is going for £12,000, maybe that Juno behind me is worth at least £8,000. He's thinking about it.
1,500.
1,500.
I'll give you 50 quid for it, mate. 50 quid and I'll take you for a meal at the pub.
Yeah. It's a thing, isn't it? Because if you think over the time and you've had the chat, I think he's beating something up. Over the time, you've sort of had opportunities to buy synths or kit that now you think, God, why didn't I get it then? And the prices that some people are trying to sell things for is like unbelievable. But if you really want that type, that retro kit, you will pay for it, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, what else have I got? Jupiter 8. I had a Circlone. Oh, now this is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. An M-Audio Oxygen.
Now that I would pay for.
US $1,000. Wow.
What is it?
It's just a MIDI controller. And it's only, 2 octaves, 3 octaves? Yeah, 3 octaves. No, 2 octaves. Ah, dear. That's crazy.
I think that must be a typo.
Oh, hang on. You've got to see this. This is amazing. Darren, you're sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's got one.
Hey.
Jeez.
Get it sold, Darren.
I didn't know there were that much.
Disclaimer, this show was not rehearsed. I swear to God, this show was not rehearsed.
It's that how much they are. I didn't know what to do with it.
Well, now you know.
Oh, surely not. That's got to be a terror.
eBay. Look at that. Now they are saying in this. They are saying in this listing that I read, it did say that it was in mint condition. It had only been taken out of the box for the photos, so it had never been used. Whereas Darren, you've
like this one. No, this is mint condition. I've never used it. And that's not mine. That's not my post I put up.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to start your bidding, please, for the Darren DTH-owned Oxygen 8 MIDI controller, will bid start at $1,000. We have $1,000.
20 quid, Darren.
You can do a like bargain hunt. You can do a bargain hunt. Oh my god! Get the guy with the funny hat and the pipe from Bargain Hunt to do it.
But you've just brought that up,
that's and
I've gone and found it. It's battery operated.
Well, you can take that to work.
It can be part of your... Exactly, and I've never even looked at it because it's just been up there. I didn't know what to do with it. But yeah, it's battery operated. Battery compartment in the back there.
I think you need to spray paint it pink.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yes, spray paint it pink, and then it'll be worth more. And then Axel will be happy with you.
I'm gonna have a little mobile setup here. Oh, battery operated.
We've ended our regular segments. I told you before that I was going to punish everybody. Yes, they are a massive punishment. You have to sit through there and be able to see your Behringer modules. I do apologise, but that's just how the show works. And if you don't like it, then bad luck. Anyway, so we do have Behringer modules here. Yes, I'm not joking. They are really here. Here they are. Look. Yay. Yeah, so what would you like me to do? Or what would you like us to do with the Behringer modules? I can do anything, the whole point with this show was that we did some videos during the week showing the filter one, and there's another one coming out with the VCA, and the whole point of this show is that if you didn't like what was in the video, you wanted to see something else, like can it do this? Ask me and I'll try. And obviously I've got limited noob knowledge for eurorack, so don't ask me to do anything sort of fancy, but I do have a make noise math module here behind me. I should change the camera angle, shouldn't I, gentlemen? Where are we? Here we go. So this is my limited setup. So oscillators, we've got two 3340 VCOs from the Neutron. I still haven't got my oscillators yet from Behringer because they haven't made them. They're not shipping yet. And there's a fair bit of modulation that you can use on the Neutron, but I've got make noise maths, which is absolutely amazing for generating envelopes. It's incredible. Like, we really need a delay. How do we fix that? Just let me fix the peak. Let me go to here first. Let's try this. That's coming in too hot on the mixer. Still coming in too hot. Too hot! I'll just drop the preamp down. So, let's get chatties up. Cool. Here we go, chatties. You're up. All right, we've got some people in Discord, which is down below me. And if you're wondering how to get into Discord, the Discord server link is right down the bottom where it says socials. Now, if you do join Discord for the first time, don't forget to click on the rules channel and agree to the rules, and then it will open up all the channels to you. And you'll find the live stream chat channel, and that will appear below if you type something in there. Zeg, if you are still watching, mate, you can jump in there and write something in there, because I know he's on Discord. So let's just... This is a Discord test. Bang. Look at that, it works straight away. See that below me? So there you go, Discord works. Now, you guys on the chat side, let's have a look at what you guys want me to do. Roland System-100m could shatter glass, says Mr. Breaker. Okay.
I got a suggestion for your runs.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, I'd like you to send sample and hold into it and put it through the magneto. I'd really quite like to hear what that sounds like.
Okay. All right. Sample and hold into...
Or is that like 20 minutes of patching?
No, we can do that. Sample and hold in. Just okay. So before anyone sends me any requests, make sure you put my name first. I will highlight my name because otherwise I won't see it. Anyway, let's try this one. So sample and hold. There you go. We've got Hanway in chat below us and inverted as well. Cool. All right, let's go over here. All right, let's get... you guys can still hear me, right? I'm probably very echoey because I'm moved away from the mic. All right, I've got a bit of noise on that patch. Can you hear the noise?
Yep.
You want the noise in there as well?
Why not? Sounds nice.
Okay, do you want the sample and hold on the...
I suppose onto the cutoff.
Onto the cutoff, okay. We can do that. We can do that. All right. Now, where is that going at the moment? That is coming out of the math. The math. A lot of math. All right, sample and hold is on this. Should we put it in delay? Oh, you wanted to go on magneto, didn't you? Okay. Magneto. Alright, so we're going to go left in. Straight out of the filter into the magneto. And what else can we do? We're not using this one. We're going to go left out of the magneto and into the VCA. There's a bit of spring reverb on that. Turn it off if you like. Oh, that's so mean. That's lovely. Alright, transport, we can pause this thing. The other thing we can do with this is we can get the clock out of this. Right, where's the clock going? And we can bring that into clock in. Where's clock in on this thing? Now, if I do a sequence, it's not really working, is it? Why is it not working? Because we needed that there. I need another cable. Alright, now we need to go. Anyway, that's that for you, Andy. I don't know if that was as good as you thought it was going to be. Do you want to make it so it doesn't go into the magneto and just straight into the VCA?
That sounded lovely, though. That sounded really nice.
That's just a standard sort of sample and hold thing, isn't it? Yeah. All right. What else can we do? Let's go back to the people here. Okay. Have I had anyone request anything? You guys keeping an eye? Can you chuck on drum machine, sample, and sequence the dark out of it? I don't have a... I've got a Volca sample here I could use. It's not really... The only thing it really would do, though, is just trigger it, wouldn't it, guys? So...
Yeah. Oh.
I don't really think that would actually... I mean, you could chuck it as an audio source into any of those things like the Magneto or the Scooper, but that's really all it's just going to glitch that up. Do you guys want to hear what the Scooper sounds like? Anyone heard of Scooper before?
Yeah, I have.
Mr. Breaker wants me to do a filter sweep with max resonance. Okay, well, you guys are going to have to...
Ouch.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to watch your ears. I'll try and tame it down. Okay, so let's take all the modulation out. Okay. That's not too bad, is it? Let's take the... Let's go back to here. Try this one here. It's very, I will admit, that filter is, it's kind of, it collects really, really quickly at the top of the resonance. So you get to a point where you move it just like a hair and it will sound so different. It's just very, very subtle movements on it. Andy, what were you saying?
I was just going to ask you, can you overdrive the input to the filter?
Yes.
Is there any way sort of like
getting
it so the input's very hot?
Yeah, you can.
And how does that sound nice and fuzzy?
Okay, we can do that.
I mean, Darren, this is the sort of stuff you'll know about, I suppose. It's probably a standard sort of technique in Eurorack, but I'm just being curious as to what you can do with it.
Yeah, overdriving filters is a cool thing. So what you want to do is you want to use, in this case, you want to use something that sort of doubles up the signal. Okay, so you've got to use these double jacks, and then you just... You see that? So I'm actually just creating a loop in there.
Oh yeah,
it's growly now.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. Like that.
Take the sample and hold out, and put it into math. Get some envelope happening. Why is that not working? Cycling that envelope. So there you go. I've just overdriven the filter and cycled the envelope for you. Isn't that cool?
It's nice.
And the other thing you can do as well is when you're cycling the envelope, you can on the maths you can actually put an LFO. You can actually use one of the other ports of maths, like the second and the third, and create an LFO on the rise or the full, or you can use an external LFO. So if you want to see me do that, I've done that in the video that's going to come out later on today with the VCA module. But yeah, it's so cool. You know what we're doing. By the way, we're showing you the math module, but that math module was not making any sound. It's just pure modulator. It's pure voltage into those Behringer modules there. So, let's see. Anyone else got requests? Hope you guys are paying attention. John Cuba, how you going, buddy? Good to see you. He's saying the Behringer stuff reminds him of the Dreadbox Chromatic series. Yeah, the Dreadbox Chromatic series is actually really, really cool. I really like that. Darren, I'm kind of, I don't know about you. Have you thought about getting one of those chromatic ones from Dreadbox?
Yeah, I have actually. The delay and the VCO, that cool VCO, is what I've been thinking about when they're in stock. That is.
Yeah.
Because the same with those Behringer ones, they don't seem to be on over here.
So, which is the one that's got the crunchy? Is it the delay one? Isn't it? It's got the crunchy sort of bit crusher thing in it, or is that the?
That's the filter.
Bit crusher module. Yeah.
That's the filter, is it? Okay, that's the one I want to get. Yeah. I want to get that because it's got you've got actually a separate filter. Yeah, Andy.
I spent some time this week actually looking at those Dreadbox modules and trying to work out just how much it would cost to populate a nifty case with that range of modules. So 2 oscillators, the filters, and so on. And it still came to 1,000. So I was, just take it a step at a time. But they're not stupidly expensive, and from the videos that I watched on YouTube, that they also sound really good. But I'm pretty sure there is a module which has got sort of distortion and bit reduction, bit crunching built into it. I can't remember the name of it. They've all got funny Greek names, so I'm quite sure which one it was.
Yeah, that was the one I was.
They're all around about the £70 to £80 mark, which seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Yeah. All right. A few people are just making comments. Mr. Breaker, one more query. What's the build quality like? Have you noticed any solder flux left on the board like some people report on Facebook? I did a video. What I'll do, just hang around. I'll try and find the video that I did. I did it for a friend of mine on Facebook, and I can't remember where I put it. But anyway, I did a real quick and dirty video where I've actually just sort of slowly zoomed in and turned this thing around, and you can see inside it and that. But I'm not taking that thing apart, and I'm definitely not taking it out. Now it's screwed into the Eurorack. No, I haven't noticed anything like that. I was talking to Jamie. You guys know Geosynths. I was talking to him today, and he said that he's shipped without 3 of them he got, and they're shipped without the ribbon cables. So there's some weird stuff going on. But then again, you are looking at the company's got a name for itself with this sort of business. So yeah, don't be surprised.
They're sort of rushing them out, aren't they?
They're kind of rushing them out, yeah. Okay, Wagoo said Ramsey and Gaz, growers of the year. Probably. Anyway, what else do you guys want me to show in here?
Marshall's just asked how many modules there are. I think, is it right there's only 3 at the minute? Or?
No, they've got... Okay, so there's 7 that you can see shipping dates on. So there's 3 that we can only seem to get our hands on, but there's 7 that have got shipping dates on, and the Dual VCO is one of them, and Dual Envelope is the other, and there's a few others as well. I can't remember what they are. I think the one that a lot of people are really, really looking forward to getting is the sequencer. I don't know personally if that's something that I'm looking forward to getting it, because I've got probably one of the world's best sequencers right there behind me, and that it just works beautifully. But yeah,
I've got that.
Yeah, but Darren's got a circuit now. Oh dear. Anyway, so I think in about...
Has it got CV out, the circuit?
No, but I can put it into the nifty case.
It's got MIDI out.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
The circuit mono station may have CV out.
Yes,
anyway,
but it's not battery operated.
I want to show you something else because no one else has suggested anything. So let me show you this. The envelope, putting an envelope or envelope, however you want to say it, and I don't care if you don't like it one way or the other. It's a bit like Moog and Moog. I wanted you to hear the VCA when you put snappy envelopes through it. It just behaves so beautifully. All right, I'll shut up. All right, here we go. So, what was that? That was not me. Now, I've got to take the overdrive filter away. Sorry, gentlemen. I know you like that a lot. Right, that sounds very normal, right? Very synthy. How are we going for volume? We could probably crank it a bit, couldn't we? It's funny, when you turn the volume down, then you have to turn it up. It's one of these unpredictable, older sort of technologies. Oh, God, come on. Probably a little bit higher. Yeah, a little bit higher. All right, let's get some snappy envelopes happening. Why is that not working? Inverter happening here somehow. Here we go. Anyway, that's about as snappy as I'm going to get. Dear me. What did I miss? Is everyone still here? Anyway, I'm getting like an inverting thing happening at the moment. So I need to work out what I'm doing wrong. Anyway, we will work that out in a sec. So the whole point with this today was just to sort of muck around with these modules and find out what else you guys want me to do. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's just a VCF and a VCA, so we're not really sort of able to do much more. I mean, I could put a drum beat through and you could have that as a cycle. I mean, all that sort of stuff you're doing, I can do anyway with LFOs and things like that anyway, so it's not really making much difference. Yeah.
Has Darren not got a suggestion? He knows the Eurorack stuff.
Sorry, I just had a phone call. Well, it's basically you're just basically going to, when you get Eurorack, it's just mess about with it, isn't it? Have I got a suggestion? Like Ramsey said, it's just a VCA, VCF. On the spot, I'm not sure.
One of the things, while you're thinking about it, Darren, and I'll just, you can keep talking, but I just want to mention one thing.
Okay.
A lot of people underestimate VCAs, these things. And they think to themselves, well, do I really need them? I mean, technically, I don't need that filter output to go into a VCA. I could just put that straight into the output of the nifty case, and then that would go into my mixer. And this is what would happen. So I've turned up the VCA gain, and that's the signal that's going through that VCA. But if I turn that VCA gain now, it becomes a gate. And when I use the keyboard, I'm opening and closing the VCA. And that is probably the most kind of important point about a VCA. And I guess, Darren, before you sort of suggest something, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason why that's important, and there's a reason why they're in every single synth that you buy. And that is because when you are turning the audio on and off through a gate, it will stop any sort of sounds that you may not hear audibly. For example, it might be sub-harmonic, or it could be high. Do you know what I mean? Like, could be, and that sort of might mud up your sound. So you might be hearing some, artifacts from a filter in your mix, and it's mudding everything up, but you can't hear it properly because it's inaudible to the human ear. And that sort of stuff goes on. And a VCA will help you with that. That's just one really basic example, but modulating that gate, which was what I was doing before with that crazy cyclic envelope. I mean, you don't need a maths to do that. You can do that with just an LFO, but that sort of stuff's cool fun. I wish synths had a maths in them. Don't you reckon, Darren? That'd be cool if synths had a maths in them.
Yeah, and also an ARC, because I really love DivKid's ARC module.
Yeah,
just you've got to have one of them. And also with the VCAs, you can, like you say, you can never have too many of them, because it's not just the sound that's you're obviously modulating in there. You can have like any controlled voltage going through there. So you could have one VCA going into another VCA, which is opening another VCA back into whatever you're opening up, and it creates. Let's say you can get lost in it. I think that's the thing with modular, because you just start plugging in patch cables. As long as you're patching not into an out into an in, but an out into an out, you just end up patching in all bizarre ways and seeing what comes out.
Yeah. While you're talking there, Darren, Marco just said, are you getting the rest of these series of modules? Yeah, I answered that before. Yes. Obviously, we can't get them is the problem. If the whole point of why Behringer are releasing them in the fashion they are, one can only assume that it's COVID-19 related. It's to do with, factory issues, maybe shipping issues, I don't know. But it looks like everywhere around the world are only able to get these three modules at the moment anyway. The VCO, the Dual VCO, is probably about 3-4 weeks away, maybe a bit longer, maybe 5. And there's a few others coming as well. So there should be about, by the time we get into sort of July, there should be about 7 modules available. Now, once those 7 modules hit, you'll have a pretty much a basic level of a System-100m. You'll have VCF, VCO, VCA, EGs, and they're all duals. So, and that's one of the things that I love about these modules is, like you've probably heard Maya Melody say, you can never have enough VCAs, right? Well, this is a dual VCA, so you've got 2. Now, Marco also mentioned, doesn't the Neutron have VCAs I can use? Yes, it does. So the Neutron that I've got here is not going to stay there permanently. It was always going to just sort of fit a temporary sort of thing for me, and then eventually the eurorack modules will replace it, and then it will become a desktop module again. And the cool thing about the Neutron is it's actually, for me, it's more of a utility synthesizer than an actual synth. But having said that, those 3340 oscillators sound amazing, and they sound like, when you watch the VCA video coming out later on today, you'll hear what I mean. They absolutely sound beautiful, and the only thing that Neutron is doing is just sending the pure oscillator mix out. There's no use of the envelopes, nothing. It's just purely going straight into those Behringer modules. And yeah, it's just, you've got to think to yourself, that's probably what Roland used back in the day. Yeah. So what else we got? Other people saying. Aaron, did you have any ideas yet? Are you still thinking?
Wagyu said he needed another case.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying I need another case.
Another case.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole purpose of my setup. You notice that the first thing that I did was I made this new higher shelf tier thing, and that's now solid as a rock. That's really, really strong now. It doesn't flop around in the breeze like it used to. And it gives me a whole space over on the right-hand side now to put more eurorack modules in there if I want to. But don't forget, I'm going to be taking the Neutron out. So there's a whole row there, and I've still got probably about 10 HP, or I don't know, whatever it works out to be, 15 HP on the right there. Actually, probably more than that. Probably like 20 HP over there. There you go. So I've got quite a bit. In terms of my future with modules, I'm just gonna get what I feel right. Like, I think one of the best decisions I ever did was get the maths module. It took me a while to save up for it, but that was absolutely a no-brainer. I can say what everyone says to you: if you start on eurorack, one of the first modules you should get is maths. And I've heard people say, "Oh, I bought maths and then I got rid of it because I didn't understand it." It's just really just an over excited envelope generator, really, isn't it, Darren? It's kind of it does a whole lot more than that. You can actually go crazy, but if you ever use it just as a cyclic sort of envelope generator, it does an amazing job at that, and it makes envelope generators look like babies, with dummies in their mouths. Seriously. All right, let's keep going.
Maths is something I hadn't actually got, to be honest.
Really?
Because I ended up with Tides, which is a sort of a similar type, in a way. The musical instruments sort of version, if you will. And marbles. So I suppose them two together is a bit like a maths, but with a bit more.
The only thing is, I think the mutable one is digital, though, right? So whereas the maths is analog. So there is something in that people will say one way or the other. But the mutable one is definitely cool. But there is something in that, I believe. Yes, maths. I try not to say too much because old man sounds like a yes. Yes, Sonny, yes, you have to get the maths module.
You need to put your teeth in properly, Ramsey.
Put the dentures in. No, so, where I decide to go is going to be different to where everyone else decides to go with eurorack. Like Darren's got his 2-3 tier case above his head there, and then he's also got his little nifty case on the side of it. And you could argue that he's got no more room now. So, Darren has to buy another case too.
Exactly. The thing is, that's the thing with modular, isn't it? I mean, it don't matter how small you reckon you're going to stay. You get the modules that you like, and you fill up your case or cases, and then there's so many out there. Then you decide I want to go a different way, or you like a different module, and then you realise that you've not got any room for it, and that becomes another case. And as soon as you buy another case, that then has to be filled up, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, this obviously we're giving maths a lot of love in this today, but really, like I said, though, the sound that you were hearing was pretty much the oscillator from the Neutron, which is the 3340 VCOs, and then you've got that filter from Behringer. I can't fault it, honestly. It's really, really good. Like, if you want to rubbish Behringer for stuff, I really don't think you can anymore, because like the Neutron's amazing. You got whoever owns a Neutron, will vouch for me here. That it's amazing build quality for the price. I've got Andy and I have both got a Pro 1, and that thing sounds spot on. I'm just amazed how that sounds. And
Darren
hasn't got any Behringer.
We'll come to that Pro 1. No, we'll come to that Pro one. Not yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you gave me the sample from once, Andrew.
You can get it. You can get
that was the original. Yeah. That little sample came. That was a track I did years ago where I was messing about with the oscillator sync and that thing in the behind my head. Where's my head gone?
So that's an.
That was the original Pro one. I mean, it was sort of like a breakdown section in a track which I did a long time ago, and I just thought, I just wondered what you'd do. So just take that bit out and see what he does.
Yeah.
Right, because that. So what
sorry
tempo
for the
was the
whistling. I've
original
got a
track?
gob full of peanuts.
What tempo was the original track then?
That's a really difficult question. About 130 probably. Are you not?
Yeah, right,
are you struggling to make it fit?
No, because there's a slight drum in the just a slight kick drum in that sample.
Yeah, just in the background. Yeah, that's because my mix is rubbish.
If you're wondering what these two gentlemen are talking about, Darren last week, he asked a sample to be sent to him, and he's going to make it into a track. So Andy's gone and done that, and they're just discussing bits of information about said sample. So obviously 4:00 UK time tomorrow, Darren will have that track finished on his channel, so you'll be able to check it out.
Because that sample that he sent me was, I don't know what the original track was like, but it felt quite dark, sort of underground vibe I was getting from that.
It's quite full on. It was quite a full on track. You know, it was oscillator sync really cranked to get all those, but just bringing it down and then just bringing it up. It was just that it was just a breakdown at the end of sort of a section, and I just really liked the way that it sort of bounced about a bit in the sort of harmonics. And it's funny, but when I recorded it, I never actually ever again managed to get it to sound quite like it did in that recording. So that's why I sent you that bit.
Right. Well, that track, what I got from that loop was I spent about a couple of hours playing with it, which way to go with it, whether it was going like a sort of a trancey vibe or sort of more uplifting house vibe. And in the end, that sample just, all I could picture was dark techno in a sort of underground club, German club or UK club, but like really underground, dark, hard-hitting techno.
That's its background. That's the origin of it. Yeah, definitely.
So
you're on theme there, Darren. So you need to turn it into something nice and ambient now.
All right, guys, we need to get back to the
sorry, we've got a tangent.
That's all right. So first thing was Sergio has asked if you can use a VCA to voltage control the expression input in effects pedals. Yes and no, depending on the pedal. So Moog Fogas, for example, are completely compatible. It depends. Like as long as, because control voltage has to be. There's different types of control voltage. You can have like 5 volts. You know what I mean? Like there's different voltages that go through things. So it depends on the pedal we're talking about. But generally speaking, yes, is the answer to that. And like I said, Moog Fogas are a great one where you can. I've got a Moog Foga filter pedal over on the right there, which is not turned on at the moment, but I might be able to get a shot for you guys. I don't actually know if you can see the back of it from this shot, but you can see the Moog Foga pedal just there. That's just a standard 101 MF101, and it's a filter in it, and you've got a whole bunch of inputs and outputs on the back, so you can run those into your eurorack. Those pedals, and they'll work. And that's actually, we were talking about why I got the Neutron. That is the exact reason why I bought the Neutron, was because I was going to get the I think it's called the CP250. I think it's called that. This is just completely off my head what model number it is, but it's like a little box, and it's got a whole bunch of voltage functions in it, like sample and hold and LFO and forget what else, but there's a whole bunch of stuff in it, and that's all built by Moog for the Moog pedal, so you can do extra kind of fancy tricks with it. And when I was researching it, some guy said to me, you know, you guys do realize that the Neutron's got all of those features, plus it's a synth, plus it's got all this other stuff as well. And I went, and he goes, plus it's probably cheaper. I just went, I'm just going to get the Neutron. And yeah, and I've run that into Moog pedals, no problem at all. So that answers that question. Now, someone else asked me something. The Invisible Man has asked, can I use the 130 Dual VCA to route audio into a sound card? Well, yeah. I mean, the output of the VCA is amplified. It's like it's either going to be at signal level that you've put into it, or it's going to be less, depending on how you've attenuated it. So yeah, you can. It's an audio signal that comes out of it, so you can put that into your sound card. Yes. What else we got? Let's go to the chat page because you guys can see what I'm reading. Darren could give us a snippet of the song. That might make more sense. Okay, good. We're up to date. Did anyone ask me to do something and I missed it? Please tell me again, because when I wasn't looking at the screen and the chat and stuff, it's a bit hard to read. A few people have been talking about maths, which is good. But let's talk about the Behringer modules. Who here thinks that they're rubbish and I'll never touch one? I'm actually quite interested to see who here is like, nah, never going to buy one. They look like rubbish. Won't ever touch one. From, you know, even though you've shown them, Ramsey, you suck at synths, so you've probably made my decision easier. Something like that.
No, I wouldn't mind getting a few of them.
By the way, we haven't even talked about this gate. Okay, so this is a it's got 4 gate controls here, plus it's got 8 gate replicators. Now, a lot of people probably thought to themselves, what the hell is that? What do I do with that? A lot of people who know about Eurorack will know exactly what you do with that. This is actually really, really cool. So basically, with the multiples, these are rows, right, across here. Sorry, I should do there. So if I was to plug something into there, like 1, okay, and whatever's coming in on that black cable will come out on these 3 corresponding outputs, exactly the same. So it multiplies that input into those 3 outputs. And the cool thing about it is like a matrix, so you can actually, so if you need more than 3, you can just go out of the first one and into the second row, and then you've got more. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you've got, say, a clock that you want to multiply out, that's an example. You might want that to go to a whole bunch of different places. That's a cool way of doing it. So you've got to remember too, when they built these things, this was like 1970s, and they didn't have, not that I know of anyway, I'm pretty sure they hadn't invented these tip-top cables. They were awesome, those tip-top cables. The other part is the 4 gate controls here. So they have, so these gate controls have an in and out, and they also have a hot signal and a cold signal, or an inverse signal, right? So the gate will respond depending on whether you know, negative or positive voltage, you know, that sort of stuff. So these become kind of like logic gates, and they are actually quite interesting. You can get some fairly sort of funky tricks out of these. They're very basic, but when I saw this module the first time, I thought, nah, I'm not going to get that. I don't think I need it. It's, you know, it's too basic. There's a lot of Eurorack stuff that does this in different ways anyway. But then I thought about it. I thought, no, because, and I think somewhere I've got a photo of the old System-100m. Let me see if I can find it. You'll see what I mean when you see this photo. I think it's this one. If it's not that one, it's the other one. Let me see if I can share it with you guys. If it's this one, we should be fine. Yeah, so I think it's this one. See down the bottom, you can see all those CV inputs and outputs down the bottom. I'm pretty sure that is what they'd made there. It's either that one or is it this one? You can see it better. Yeah, this one's a better photo. you can actually see the word multiples. See that? See the black strip with all the CV inputs and outputs? So that's what they've replicated. And that actually becomes really, really handy. So I'm going to put a pin in that for now, but I actually feel that will actually come in quite handy, that CV module. It's one of those ones which I thought at first, nah, I don't need. And then later I thought about it. And it's a bit like the VCA. First I thought, no, like that question we had before, do you really need a VCA? Well, no, you don't. But if you do, you'll never, ever look back. Okay, what do we got? Guys, gentlemen, Darren, have you got a suggestion yet?
Well, I was going to say, how about you use your gates? Or maybe try to do a sort of a nice drone and run it through the magneto.
Mm-hmm.
And get the filter nicely modulating.
We can do
some sort of ambient. Do you know what I mean?
Do you want me to go through the magneto first and then come out of magneto into the filter, or do you want me to go through the filter into the magneto? Which one? Which way?
Oh, I say go through the magneto first. Oh, or yeah, both? Try both. That'd be quite cool.
All
yes.
Right, so what we'll
do that.
Is we'll go. This is the oscillator mix output on the neutron, right? So that's basically a non VCA. That's a direct output of the sum of the two oscillators. What we're going to do is we're going to go straight into the left in on the magneto, and we're going to go left out into this. I'm going to turn that noise off. Very quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Louder? Not much louder. I need to bump it up again, boys. Alright, now. What about I run a sequence? So you wanted a drone, didn't you?
Yeah, I want you to make modulate that drone.
Okay. There's some sort of issue with the audio. There you go. Alright, now we need to get this VCA working.
Yeah, like IP set. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Like IP says, drop the BPM down and then have a real nice long reverb tail on it.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we can do reverb. We can do this. We can do this. Do.
Is this a Strymon coming out?
It might be. It just might be. Alright, let's go to here.
Yes.
And let's pump that up a bit.
We're getting there now.
Leave the maths kick in then. Now we can pause this too.
There's a track already. You see, Andy, this is the thing with modular. You get those little bits of inspiration for might only last for a few seconds. You've got to sample them.
Well, I was just thinking I could really do with these sort of sounds for my little project that's coming up. Just what I've got in mind.
Oh, I can set the Strymon to be longer. It's 20.
See, that's why I have to be careful when I use my modular. It's because I can waste a whole day playing about with it.
And I can just sit here and look at you guys. Oh, has YouTube just shut itself?
Oh,
No, I don't think so.
no, it's alright. Still working.
I can just sit here and go like this.
You see, this is how I work, because I'll be messing about with the modular and I'll be getting different sounds. I'll record everything and I'll sample the sections that I want and then turn that into a track. But like I say, you can get lost in it and then realise you've not recorded anything.
I can cycle that. And that's the filter just going absolutely nuts.
Yeah, you're definitely getting into space farts territory now.
Anyway. How do we shut it up? It's got a 50-second tail on it. There we go. Ah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. See,
Um,
this is what I mean, innit? You get stuck into modular and you could just spend hours then.
I think I broke YouTube while I was doing it. YouTube
I
was
think
like,
it was when it had that
"What
really
is this
sub
shit?
low.
Easy. Oh, I'm gonna shut this shit down.
No, I think it was when that big sub came in for about, I think it was like 2 notes. It's like really low because I thought, oh, that'd be cool to sample that bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Just look at what Xils-soft's written there.
This would be the noise.
Behave yourself, Axel.
If 2 robots were having sex in a forest, would anybody hear them? Now turn it into a song. Yeah, I'm getting.
Depends whether they've got ears or not.
I'm getting YouTube issues. YouTube issues. Let me just check something.
It's all right on my end.
Let me check something out, gentlemen. I just want to check something out here. It's probably going to completely break my internet, but anyway, let's see what happens. No, we're getting. Wow, I'm getting 100 meg download whilst I'm streaming. Okay, we're good with that. I'm doing a speed test whilst I'm streaming. This is just, guys, don't play along at home. Don't do this. Now, what's my upload like? Wow, I'm getting 60 meg upload whilst I'm streaming. So God knows what is wrong with YouTube. It's definitely not my end, YouTube.
No, I'm getting you perfectly clear on YouTube coming through.
Guys, let us know if the stream has dropped out. Yes, maybe we're being censored. Yes. See, maybe all the algorithms in YouTube were actually, because they're actually not human, they're robots. Maybe they were all hearing that and thinking, oh my God, this is X-rated, as Xils-labs was saying. Right. Okay. What did I miss out on when I was doing that? So, yeah. I mean, look, the effects obviously make everything sound good, don't they? So, yeah. I mean, when I did the VCA video, you'll hear I purposely left my delay on for the first half of the video. And people are going to get pissed off with that. They're going to go, I can't hear it properly because you've left the delay on. I'll probably get all these like downvotes and nasty comments. But I don't give a shit because I actually like hearing the envelope cut off and it actually causes the bounce and the delay and actually gives you a real scientific feeling of that's actually when that sound finished and you get the bounce with the delay. That's why I left it on, because I wanted to hear it. And I think sometimes when you don't have the effects on, if it's just raw coming out, you kind of forget, if that makes sense. Your brain isn't kind of purposely noticing it. Did you move to New Zealand? No, I don't get it. Why did I say something like bro? Did I say bro or something? For some chop, bro. I don't know. I can't do a New Zealand accent. YouTube, because crikey, yes. You guys like my little sign? Andrew told me to do that. Bit of advertising. That's just, it's been so professionally done. I just printed that on a piece of paper and sticky taped it. Everything's pro here. This is proof that there's absolutely no commercial ventures in this at all. Andy, like I said to you the other day, mate, I'm actually dying to take the Neutron out and put the Pro 1 in and start mucking around with the Roland modules with the Pro 1 and seeing. I mean, you got Curtis filters in that Pro 1. You got they're Curtis filters, aren't they? Yeah, they're Curtis filters, and you got Roland filters in the clone of the Behringer.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at I've got no reason to stick anything into the patch sockets. I know you can sort of patch it to itself, but I haven't done so yet. So I think one of the things about the Pro 1 is its internal patching and the modulation matrix means you can send the main things to where you want them to go. So, but it would be interesting to hear the difference, or whether there is a difference between the 3340 oscillators in the Pro 1 and the 3340 oscillators in the Neutron, and what difference it makes just taking them straight out.
Yeah.
Whether they would sound different side by side. So it would be interesting to do I mean, you've got the two channels on that filter, so you could take one oscillator from the Pro 1 and stick it into one side, and you could take one oscillator from the Neutron and stick it in the other, and do an almost side-by-side comparison to see what they were like. That might be an interesting little experiment for you.
It doesn't have as many. It's hard to see because I haven't got my light on.
Does it have a direct oscillator out? I'm not even sure it does, but have a look myself.
That light just made it worse. Outputs, it's got just audio out. So if I was to do just direct oscillator out, I would have to.
There's no direct oscillator out, is there?
No, it goes through the whole thing. I would have to turn all the envelopes and everything to sustain max, release max,
filter wide open, everything.
Filter wide open. I would have to turn it to drone mode, because that would be like opening the VCA. I'm guaranteeing that's what that does.
Yeah.
And then turn all the other two, external and oscillator B, off, and then I would get possibly an oscillator pure out of it. It's a bit of a shame it doesn't have a direct oscillator out, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realise. There's a mixer output.
There is a mixer output. Yeah.
There's a direct mixer output, so you could take 2 oscillators.
Yeah, that could be it. You could be spot on. Yep. I probably should just read the manual. I mean, I've only had this thing for a week or so. So, anyway,
bother. There's nothing in it.
Yeah, you were asking about CV, and I mean, when I first bought this, the first thing I did was use the SQ1 with it, and that's CV. So it works beautifully. Anyway, enough of the Pro One.
I mean, obviously I've got the original. I use that with a 2-channel Kenton MIDI to CV interface. I had the Pro One on one channel and the SH101 on another, and they just worked fine, and they always triggered. So the fact if Behringer have managed to do it so that the clone triggers just as well using CV. The interesting thing would be the keyboard scaling. The one thing I did have to spend quite a lot of time with was with a little screwdriver into the Kenton interface, just adjusting the CV scaling so that it tracks. You never ever get it accurate so that it would track, say, 5 octaves accurately. You got no chance. But if you get sort of 3 octaves pretty close, that works. Apparently the scaling on the Behringer Pro One is actually pretty good. So
CV scaling has never been that good, though. I mean, I'll be the first to admit it's never been that good in anything. Because what needs to happen is it's not volt per octave perfectly, because the way the circuits work. So it needs to you need to be able to trim that. So that's why you need to have things like attenuators in your setup, so that you can actually slightly trim off, or slightly, even like positive and negative voltage, you can slightly trim or slightly increase. Do you know what I mean? So that it's kind of a tricky thing. And then I think Arturia started mucking around with things like the key steps or the beat step. I forget which one it was now. And you could actually you could set different levels of voltage intervals on things, so it would slightly adjust the tuning as a result. And that worked with, I think they were trying to sort of get the Moogs and stuff working through it perfectly, and it kind of did. So, but the thing is, you get certain amount of maximum, minimum octaves on it, and then it will just completely go out of tune. And that's just something that's always happened anyway. Lupop and Skarsky are my friends, are they? I actually don't know either of them. I think I've spoken to
Starsky.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to Starsky once, and I forget Lupop's name. He's in one of the groups, and he's chatted to me about something once, but I don't really know them. I do actually watch their videos though. I think they're like much more professional than I am. But yeah, Starsky does those really, really cool sort of comparison videos, doesn't he? I like those ones that he does. Like the one he did recently was the what was
the
it?
OBX and the Arturia.
The one before that. What was it? It was really, really good. I forget now. The one he did before that one that you just mentioned. The OBX one, I've never really been a fan of comparing software synths to hardware synths, because it's kind of, you're never ever going to get, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to get it sounding the same, because your sound card on your computer will be different to the person next to you's sound card on their computer will be different to the output of the synths, amplifier module, which is all treated as well. So, yeah.
One of the interesting things was Starsky.
Regarding Pro One tutorial. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Starsky Carr was one of the, when he did the sort of the side by side of the original Pro One and the Behringer, he was one of the first people that actually, or the only person that I know who's ever made a comment on how shoddy the build quality of the original Pro One is. He just said, "Well, look at this; it's built rubbish," and he was right. I was actually quite glad that somebody else was prepared to acknowledge that this classic synthesizer actually isn't particularly well built at all. So,
you know what, that may be the first time you heard it, but I've actually heard it quite a bit, and that's actually one of the reasons why I've never bought a sequential synth, because for a start, I've got a friend who lives in Queensland, and I've known him for years, and he bought a Prophet 8 when they first came out, and then immediately, like within months of him buying it, they sent out new potentiometers for it, because the ones that they originally put on were rubbish, and they had to replace them all because they were just like complete like brain fade. And then he said it was just a nightmare for him to, because he lives in Australia, it was a nightmare for him to get this done, because apparently he had to ship it back to San Francisco. And he said, there's no way I'm going to pay for the postage of that. And Sequential weren't paying for it either. So he ended up having to deal with them to find some repairer that they were happy to do for him. And then in the end, it ended up costing him money. And he said, well, it's still under warranty. Why didn't you guys pay for it? So it was that was just a kind of a nightmare for him. And then, so there's been a whole bunch of sort of people talking about things like that, kind of weird things that their Sequential synths have done. But I believe that, like, the last couple of ones that they've made, like the OB6 is definitely good quality. The Prophet 6.
It's sad to hear. I mean, I just think that I think the original Pro one was originally built to a budget. It's as simple as that. But the Prophet 8, I don't think that was built to a budget. So and it seems sad that Sequential were not willing to put right what they hadn't got right in the first place. I mean, companies really should take some responsibility for that. If what they've put out in the first place wasn't good enough, they should put it right. But maybe that's just me being idealistic. I don't know.
I think at the end of the day, too, I think, we're talking about like hardware versus software synths. The cool thing about it is, like, you're going to get a similar sound. It's not going to be like massively different. Like, it's not like you're going to be listening to a flute versus a guitar. It's not going to be crazy like that. But so if, for example, if you are thinking to yourself, oh, gee, I actually really think I might get a Prophet. This is just an example, right? I really think I need to get a Prophet. So I'm really gassing right now for a Prophet 6. So what you should probably do is get yourself a VST and have it play around with the Prophet until you sort of get to know it and feel if that actually is something that you like, because they actually do operate and behave kind of similarly. And then we're not talking exact, but it's going to take you down the path of whether you'll actually enjoy that or not. And I think listening to YouTube videos of hardware is one thing. It'll take you a certain direction. Going into a store and playing one in real will take you to a certain degree as well. But I think the VST is probably the one that's going to take you the furthest depth. And I don't have a problem with that, because I actually kind of worked out that there's a few synths that I just would never buy, because to me it was like I'm not going to sit there and muck around with that horrible 1970s interface that someone invented when they were on drugs, and just because it's got some amazing history, there's stuff like that I just won't touch. So yeah, you'll work out what I'm talking about. So let's go to the chatties. How did you guys enjoy the eurorack stuff today? Let us know if that was, obviously I've got to get better at this stuff, so please bear with me. But let us know if you did enjoy that, because it's always good to know whether that sort of thing, it's kind of like user request. I don't know. It's kind of more feedbacky. You can't lick VSTs, no. You can't. Yes. You guys might remember my Vulcan modular joke with the LSD mod, I should say. Yeah. Just reading the comments here. Yeah, so people were talking about, other YouTubers. I think there's plenty of room for people to do, like, for example, Loopop, he's got his style. And sometimes I absolutely love his videos, because it's exactly what I needed. I needed someone to break it down in that sort of...
They're like video manuals, aren't they?
Yeah, like a manual. I really need that sometimes, like to walk me through it. And you're never going to get that from a manufacturer in that sensible detail. And sometimes
they just try to tell you how good and what it can do.
Yeah, and sometimes Starsky's videos, how he shows how they sound different compared to something else, they're also handy as well. But what I like about him is it's not one of those white coat, let's get the oscilloscope out and work out, this is the frequency and it's slightly phased with this, like he doesn't go into too much technical stuff. He kind of gives his own personal opinion from a sort of music point of view, and I think that's good. So I like that. And we're talking today off, not on the show, but just today on social media. And one of the things that we were enjoying was talking about a lot of us YouTubers actually do know each other, and I don't know all of them, but I've already mentioned before I don't really know Loop Hop and Starsky that well, but a lot of us do know each other, and we talk to each other regularly. We actually support each other too, because there's a thing that happens when you actually start doing this, and it's kind of difficult to do these sort of things, especially when you don't really get paid for it. Like, if anyone is ever wondering how much money we make out of YouTube videos, it's like you're not going to make any sort of decent money until you hit maybe sort of like 1 million views a month. That's kind of when you'll start making decent money, like money where you might actually start thinking to yourself, I may quit my job, and I probably wouldn't even do that then either. But yeah, looking at my I've got not even 10,000 subscribers. I've only just hit 1 million views total. So, it's very, very small fry. And yeah, so you can see that what I do is purely just for fun and for love, and and I'm actually I actually find it awesome. I feel all of you guys as my friends, and the fact that you're sitting here and talking and stuff, I think it's awesome. It fills my bucket, as they say in the old school. When are the manufacturers going to start sending you synths? I don't think they will, Triple A Berg, because I'm absolutely crap at reviewing. I don't know if you've ever seen me show stuff. I'm just like all thumbs. Like I get nervous and I'm not very good. Sometimes I sort of do a reasonably okay video. Like those Behringer module ones are probably 4 out of 10 if you wanted my own personal opinion. There were so many things that I could have done better. But like for example, the one I'm showing you guys later on today, I forgot to turn the delay off. Not kind of on purpose, but sort of, I should have turned it off earlier. But you'll see what I mean. There's things that I do, and then I haven't got time to go back and reshoot a video because of a little mistake like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone will ever send me stuff. I mean, there's guys like Grit from Retro Kits. He sends me gear. I have to pay for postage, and I'll review a video for him and things like that. But like the latest thing that I'm getting from him, I had to pay for, so it doesn't always work that way. Roland send me stuff every now and then, but I have to give it back, which I think sucks, because they sent me something once, and I really, really liked it, and I didn't want to give it back. But it had kind of been around Australia to all the different people, and it had kind of already been half broken anyway by the time I got to it. But yeah, I don't like having to give stuff back. Yeah. Donkey Jaw review loop hop style. I don't think I could do a loop hop video, guys. I don't think I have that in me. You guys would probably know what I'm talking about. It takes a special type of person to be able to be sort of methodical like that. He's very methodical. Me, I get excited and I'll go off on tangents and I forget where I'm up to. That's me. I'm just kind of like Dory the fish, I forgot what I was doing 5 minutes ago.
I suspect there's an awful lot of edits in that, and it takes him a long time to put those things together, because he is very thorough. He couldn't just do it in one go off the cuff. You'd get tongue-tied and stumble and say VCA when you meant VCF, and
yeah.
So I think he must put in a lot of time tweaking what he's done and editing out the mistakes. But it shows in his videos, because they're always easy to watch, easy to listen to, and he tells you what you need to know and he's great for that. He really is good.
So the other thing too is that there's people that do reviews very quickly, like Nick, right, from Sonic State. He's very, very quick at getting his point across and moving on to the next, and he doesn't dwell. And sometimes, like, especially the younger generation, they don't like how us older sort of people, we kind of take our time and we dwell on things and we don't move quickly from point to point. That younger people, they want things so quick and so, like, fast foods, drive through, it's all like that. I can't do that sort of style of video. So yeah, I'm kind of more, I like to be sort of more chilled and, you know, take my time. And I reckon there's a lot of people that just couldn't handle that. They'd probably fall asleep. Loop Hop tends to be a bit like that too, but he'll you know, plod through. You know, you'll see his little sort of contents on the left-hand side, and he'll plod through it.
Yeah.
And I find
it tells you where things are.
Yeah, and I find that sort of slow and methodical way such easier to learn, like, than someone who's like, and you kind of, you find yourself having to pause the video, rewind it. What did that guy just say this then? And sometimes the video footage doesn't match up to what they were saying, and you kind of get lost. And especially when you're getting older, like, you're not so snappy anymore, you know. So yeah, I watch these young kids, and they can learn gear so much quicker than us too. So, like my kid, he's so quick at learning things. It's amazing just to watch. I mean, I'm sure we were like that when we were younger, but like, geez, how do they learn so quick? It's incredible. They mastered. I've seen a guy grab a circuit. A friend of my family's got his 13, 14-year-old kid a circuit, and within about 2-3 weeks, he was punching out these really insane beats from the circuit really, really quickly. And like, I'm still like on it already. Darren will be quicker than me, you know. So
no, I'll be the same. I'll be too many flashing lights, and I'll be just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
There's a new feature that YouTube.
He'll teach you.
I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. There's a new feature that YouTube have just released where if I, in my video contents, if I put like a contents with, I put the times of when certain things appear in my video, the play bar down the bottom, you'll see it slice up. And if you hover your mouse over, it'll actually show you a little pop-up, and that's the direct sort of pop-up of what the content shows in the description, which is awesome. We were talking about this today. That's something that's like, that is a really good addition to, you know, YouTube do things all the time where they put things on it. It doesn't help anyone. That is one example of where they've put something on that actually really helps everyone. When you guys see it next, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a video I've edited specifically for that, which is the Bocas MIDI, what's it called again? That thing, MIDI boy. The video that I did on that, the Bocas MIDI boy. That video. If you go look at that video on my channel, you'll see what I'm talking about with the bottom play scroll thing. It's all you know, contented up. It's brilliant. It's a really, really cool addition. So yeah, well done YouTube, if you're watching. Keep up the good work. Yeah, so I mean, look, I don't know. We're talking about sort of like people sort of who do this. I don't know if I could sort of handle being, you know, 1 million views a month. I'd probably be too stressed out. It's taken me a long time to get from starting to where I am. Like, I see people start, you know, and go way past me so much quicker. And I look at it and I think, good on them. But for me, it's just, I'm just very gradual. Like, I just don't want to do things too quickly. That's just how I am. And yeah, some people don't like it. That's fine. Yeah. The other thing that I guess impresses me, you know, you talk about these guys who do reviews. I've always been, I don't know about you, Andy and Darren, I don't know what you think, but I've always been a firm believer in watching a review of someone who actually purchased out of their own pocket the gear. I feel that just that very notion of you having to sever that kidney out of your body to be able to afford that synthesizer and the fact that you know that it's going to sit there in your studio for a long time because you're not going to move it on in a week because you just paid for it, right? I think that just that notion on its own puts you in a lot of a different situation when you're talking about a gear, and especially if you've got people who buy gear and they review it. And a good example of that is Jamie, who's Geosynths. He doesn't get given, well, he does, but most of the time he buys gear and he reviews it. He doesn't do a lot of reviews though, but when he does, they're really, really good reviews. So, when you watch people who buy the synth and review it, I always find that they're much better to watch. And they may not be the most entertaining personality. They may not be the most succinct, at communicating either. But you'll find that there's little snippets that come out of those videos that are just worth their weight in gold because it's a real user that's bought that piece of hardware. So yeah, like Andy, for example, right? He's a Pro 1 owner. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He's a Pro 1 owner, and he said to me, the Behringer Pro 1, I got it because mine's like sick and poorly, and I really, should get it fixed, but I don't really need to because the Behringer Pro 1 does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it sounds exactly the same. And for me, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like when someone says something like that, and I've already gone and watched a million YouTube videos on the Pro 1. I already know what it sounds like. I've gone and looked at it in the store, and then you hear someone say like, especially like Andy's had a Pro 1 for how many years, Andy? You've had it for like
since 1987.
Yeah, there you go. So he's had that thing. He knows it inside out. For him to turn around and say to me, "Bang, it's fine." That was the last thing I needed to hear. Bang, I went and got one. And I knew he knew I was talking about it too, because I knew that I was saying to him, look, I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a sequential synth because they're just very expensive here in Australia because everything's expensive here. So that's probably going to be the closest thing that I'll ever have to owning a sequential sounding synth. And it sounds beautiful. So there's definitely no problems there. Yeah. That's kind of the point I was trying to make anyway. Went a long way around.
Now these days. Well, it's true. I mean, we'd all love to be able to have a Mini Moog and an Odyssey and all these wonderful old vintage synths. I just happened to be in a music shop in Newcastle one day, and this thing was sitting there. So I asked about it. I'd just arrived there at university. I'd been there a couple of weeks, and the fella said, well, the fella who sold it to me is actually a man called Ian Boddy. I don't know if you've heard of Ian Boddy. Well, that was the first time I met him. He's a big electronic artist and has been for quite a long time. And he's big into the modular stuff. He's at Synthfest every year and stuff like that. But it was actually Ian Boddy, and I sort of recognised him from photographs in magazines. And he actually sold me the Pro 1. It wasn't his, but he was the salesman in the shop in Newcastle when I bought it for £150. I mean, nobody wanted them back then, but I thought, I've got to have this one. This is what I've got. And otherwise, I would never be able to have afforded, a Prophet synth. I couldn't go out and buy one now. Even I'd love to. I'd love to own a Rev 2 or a Prophet 6. It would just be heaven. But
yeah,
it's just way out of my price league.
Yeah, it's a sensibility too, isn't it? It's sensibility. I think, there's synths that I would definitely buy with not even not even any sort of sensibility would ever come into my mind. I'll just, yep, I'm getting it. And that ARP 2600 is the one that comes into mind there, because once that becomes available to me, it's happening. But yeah, other than that, for example,
the Behringer version.
I'm not saying which one yet because I don't know what the Behringer one's like. Do I? No one does. So yeah, I'm holding off because I think I need to check the Behringer one out. I'm not scared of buying Behringer. Everyone seems to be hating. Like, people hate them. Why? They're making things. I think, guys, they're making things that people want. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I think if any Behringer that I'll be getting would be the Pro 1, the K. Is it the K2?
K2, yeah.
The Cat, and probably the ARP. Yeah. If I was to get any Behringer, them would be the ones.
Yeah. I've played a Behringer ARP Odyssey. and I've got the Korg Arp Odyssey, and I can tell you that I'll never get rid of the Korg Arp Odyssey. It's beautiful, and yeah, it's not the same as the original because it's 80% the size. I don't care about that. For me, I actually like the fact that it's 80% the size, because it takes up less space, and I don't mind the keys being a bit slimmer. It's not too bad. It's not going to like kill us. But yeah, I can't really tell much difference between them. Honestly, they're very similar. Other than the keyboard is different. That's it. They sound the same.
As long as this, as long as they sound not noticeably different, then I don't see a problem. It's like, if you have to put them side by side and sit there and minutely try to work out which is sounding the same as the original, then it's fine. I mean, like Andy said, all Pro ones were never the same anyway.
No.
And I think that goes for quite a lot of old analog synths anyway. Even TB-303, they were never the same.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it's
just a slight variant.
Arp Odyssey sounded different as well. I think it was Herbie Hancock talked about it. He said that he'd bought something like 5 or 6 of them over many years, and he ended up taking a couple back because they just didn't sound the same as the previous one, and it took a few sort of attempts to get one before he was happy with it. So yeah, it's a bit like that. We were talking about in the news section, we're talking about the SSM filter, right? And how it has that erratic resonance on it. That can be the reason, because it heats up, and it gets affected by temperature. So there was all those.
You could lose yourself. You could lose yourself getting worried about whether it's exactly the same. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
When as soon as the SH-01A came out, I bought one. I thought, that's it. I want my SH-101 back. That's it. That's what I need, and I bought it. And it's never ever disappointed. It sounds in every way just like I remember the SH-101. It operates the same way. It feels the same. And yet it's totally digital. I know it's totally digital. Mm-hmm. Somebody said to me not long ago, "Oh, I bet you wish you'd waited for the Behringer."
No.
Well, no, I don't. No, I don't wish I'd waited, because I've bought that. I made my decision. I spent my money. I got that bit of kit, and I love it.
And you've got 4 voices too.
I very rarely use that. Every now and again, I'll flick the switch, but more often than not, It sounds just like my old SH-101 did, and that's what I wanted. I wanted my baby back, and I got it back.
You know what I reckon?
Okay, it was a lot smaller. It takes up much less space. It's like the size of the Behringer Pro one compared to that thing back there. I mean, it amazes me how massive that thing is.
You can actually see it just above your right shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair big.
I have got a 101, Andy.
I was talking about the 101A. I think he's getting the Pro 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've talked about the 01A before.
Yeah.
Let's look at. Here comes the Pro 1, guys. Let's make him full screen. Here we go.
I mean, it's a fair big slab of synth, really. I mean, well, getting all tied up in it. It's bloody. Sorry about the broken key. That happened in the middle of a gig.
Look at how it's like a meth addict, that keyboard.
and just, I don't know if I can get this in the right place in front of the camera, so that Inky can see. It's this bit here. It all squashes in. It's really soft, but the thing is massive. So the space saving is one thing, and I know you might say, "Oh, it's nice if you can get your hands around all the controls and stuff," but that Behringer one is perfectly big enough, and so is the little boutique SH-01A. They're perfectly sized. I'm going to go and put this back where it belongs now.
Yeah, especially when you've got studios the size of ours that's small, you just can't get that amount of equipment in.
I've got mine in a little thingo at the moment. Where's I'm disappeared. Mine's in a little desktop thing.
Oh, nice.
So I can do that.
That little metal case, yeah.
Or I can do that.
Was that from Roland?
No, this was this thing here that came with the TB03.
Yeah.
That's why it's see how it's silver and this is like a grey. So the TB03 is in the cupboard. But I was just going to say, like you were talking about the SH-01A, right? So here's my theory. If you write music, and most of us do, if that ends up being on your track, then it's a winner. That's my theory. It's that simple. If that synth ends up being on a track, and you're happy with it, that it actually... I'm not talking about a jam, I'm talking about a track that you record and it's going to be part of an album, then it's a winner. And then that SH-01A is on... I did an album called Link, and it's all over that album, the SH-01A. It's all over that album. And it's a beautiful sounding synth. And like you said, Andy, it's digital. Whoopie-dee-doo-dah.
Yeah.
I've got a digital synth coming in the post.
Well, I don't give two shakes of a monkey's tail. As long as it sounds nice, that's what matters to me.
Yep.
Well, I was going to say, how many times have we said it? When it's in a track, you don't know whether it's digital or analog anyway, when it's in a full track.
Exactly,
so
Darren.
it's never going to matter. And it's all about how you feel about it. So if you want an analog, expensive retro synth that is a bit temperamental, then fine. If you want to spend that money on it, but if you go and get like Ramsey there with the 101A, and that's fine, and it's small, and it makes the sound that you want to make it sound, and it sounds just as good in the track than the original, then what's the problem?
It's actually like that's the thing. What's the problem? That is so good how they fit it. I mean, I don't even need that. Take that off. I don't even need that. You could actually, if you just sold me it without that modulation thing on the side, I'd even be happy. And the thing that
it's funny you mentioned that modulation thing.
A lot of people don't realise that it's got CV on it as well. So I can go and plug that in now and use the sequencer on this to play that neutron if I wanted to, and it would probably sound awesome.
It's funny you mentioned that modulation thing, because I look at mine and I get cross about it, because I really think they could have taken that space and used it for something much more useful. They could have put a built-in delay. They could have put a distortion unit in it. They could have used all that space for something that was the things that everybody sticks on the sound of an SH-101 anyway, like a bit of distortion, like a bit of delay. They could have built that in. The next to nothing, because those sliders are neither use nor ornament to anybody. They're just daft, but such a waste of real estate. And that's the only grumble I have about that box. That takes up such a lot of room. Like the SE02 doesn't have them.
No,
because they needed the space for knobs and stuff. But that's got a built-in delay. You know, why couldn't we have had it on the SH-01A? It would have been so nice if they had. Well, that's my only grumble.
Roland are listening. So they did release the JU06, and it had the thing on the side. And then they re-released it, and they got rid of it because they listened to people and thought saying exactly the same thing. You mentioned the SE02, but this is a perfect example. And you can see that they've added arpeggiator on the side. And you've got all these keyboard sort of features on the left there. So that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's one of the other boutiques. I mean, I'd quite like the TB03, and I quite fancy that one as well because it looks so nice as well. Call me shallow.
Yeah. Why do you like? Do you think you like that?
I fancy the Behringer version.
Darren.
Sorry, I've got the TB03, and I fancy the Behringer version.
Even though you've already got the TB03, interesting.
I've got I've got the TB03, and I've also got the MAM 33, which is I think is really cool. It's only a little small thing, and I do fancy the Behringer version actually. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think Ramsey's going to get his TBL free. I could have got mine. It's just there. Oh, and Andy, I was saying I've got an original SH-101.
I've got a couple of boutiques actually. So that's what Andy was talking about before, the SEO2.
Oh, nice! I didn't know you got one of those.
That is a beautiful analog synth. That's been on a few of my tracks. I love the sound of that, and the sequencer on this is actually quite unique. The sequencer on that. And yeah, Darren, you've got this, haven't you? You got the same as me? You got that one?
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah,
that's also a really, really good bass line. I actually don't need to buy the Behringer because I think this is probably better built and it's probably gonna be more stable. So, and it squelches just like I've got another one, but I don't have it here because I've lent it to a friend. And I've got the JX03. And I used to have the J.
See, that's another one that I'd love to have that. I was interested. Darren mentioned the MAM little module. I'll hold this up. I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah,
you can see this if I do that. Yeah, can you? Oops.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, do you remember that one, Darren? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I never got one. I always wanted one. I ended up getting the original base station in the rack.
I've got that as well down there, but that stopped working.
So, no, mine's ticked well.
So I've got to go.
Wow. Yeah, I actually remember that.
That freebase. I mean, that exactly. But that's what it became. I mean, the company that made the freebase became MAB technology and made that stuff. Yeah. So that's its history. But yeah, I mean, again, this is another. As far as I know, this thing still actually works. But I've got nowhere to sort of. Oh, maybe I could rack it up there. Maybe I should.
You should try that again.
I'll try it later.
Try that again.
Yeah, because I always wanted one of them years ago. I mean, when I first started out, I always wanted one of them. I also got the Zoom. Is it the 1204 effects one? Effects. Yeah. I was going to get that and the Zoom.
Is that the blue or the? I've got the Zoom 1201, which is sort of the gold front panel. There was one that they did which had a blue front panel as well. That's sitting just here.
I've got the same. That's gold.
Yeah, that's the 1201.
Yeah, I've got the gold. Yeah,
it's a bit noisy, but there's some nice bits in it. The vocoder works okay. Yeah, I've used the vocoder on it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to grab 2 more boutiques. One sec.
And I also got the EMU Orbit Dance Planet. You must remember that. He's off.
Is he gone?
I think so. Yeah, do you remember the
just on you, Darren? Yes. All of those things. Yeah, in fact, I think... who was I watching? I can't remember. There's somebody on YouTube and Facebook, and they've got one of the old... like the vintage keys and the old Roland thing, where they sort of repackaged all the sound cards into the unit. There's all of those. But I've just been over and got some stuff as well, but Ramsey will have to put the camera back on, right? So I'll just hold that up as well. Can you see that one as well?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yay. There it is. The old original bass. The old original base station rack, but unfortunately this one's had an EEPROM failure, and Novation kindly informed me that they haven't got any left. They can't do anything about it. So somebody told me that you can get them on eBay, but I've not been able to find the EEPROMs, and I wouldn't know what to do with it if I found them in the first place.
You can reprogram them.
Yeah,
that's actually something that you can easily fix. Yeah. I can help you with that.
If somebody knows what to do. Ping me an email through YouTube or on Facebook or something, because I'd love to get this thing back working again. You know, I had a bit of a rant at the guy from Novation at Synthfest last year saying I thought it was disgraceful that they didn't support people who'd been their loyal customers since 1990, whatever it was. I mean, the thing's ancient. I mean, it's hardly surprised, and it had been neglected. It's hardly surprised it's not working. I felt a bit guilty about that later, but still, it would be nice if you can get it back up and running, you know. I'm just surrounded by dead synthesizers.
I want to show you guys that this is a boutique that I've had for a while, and a lot of people
funky little thing.
Forgot about that one. So that's the A01, and it's a little 8-bit, synthesizer, and it's kind of got two major roles. It's like the 8-bit synthesizer, but it's also actually a controller, and it's one of the rare controllers that you can actually pump sysx straight into. You can actually have 4 sysx messages. You can actually program it, and there's not many controllers out there that will do that. And yeah, it's this one. If you've got an A01, hold on to it, because Roland didn't make very many of them at all, from what I've been told. And the other one that I've got, and this is the last one I'll promise that I'll show you, is this one, the VP03.
You've been spending lots of money on those little boxes, Rans.
Oh, I had, in the past. But this one will probably disappear because I've got the Behringer VC340, and that completely replaces this. In fact, it actually shits all over this. This thing is a bit rubbish.
Really?
Yep, it's a bit rubbish.
I did wonder, because that Behringer one, the Behringer VP, does sound absolutely delicious. I know some people go, "Oh, it's a one-trick pony," but what a you just need to press this, again.
It's
actually,
a three-trick pony. It's a three-trick pony.
Yeah. Jamie from Geosynth did an absolutely superb review of that, and it's just absolutely stunning. And who cares if that's it just is a sound I love? I mean, and I'm torn, because you mentioned the Strymon earlier. I'd really, really love one of those things, and I've not bought it because I'm torn. Do I need to save up? So
that's the thing. The Strymon absolutely kills this, and there's an absolute sensible, like stupid Roland, but sensible Waldorf reason for it, and that is that whoever programmed this at Roland didn't stop to think, we're actually digitally replicating a divide down string synthesizer, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to digitally replicate a divide down synthesizer, you'd think that the way they'd set up with their voice architecture, it would be divide down. Now in a Strymon, that's exactly what it does. It actually replicates divide down. And it does it beautifully, and that's why it sounds so good. In fact, it's actually, programmatically, it's actually quite easy to do. But Roland, out of all the ACB, era that they really produced the boutiques, that VP03, I doubt very much it's even ACB. I mean, someone can correct me.
Is it still only 4-voice polyphonic?
It's absolute shit. I think it's 6 voices, actually, that one. It's absolute shit. Sorry. Sorry, Roland.
It's still not enough.
You got it wrong.
It's still not enough for those sort of string sounds. You want those tails hanging over.
Someone will correct me. I think I'm pretty Wagu's saying it's 6. And I think Wagu will probably agree with me. It's nothing like the original VP330. In fact, if you guys I am going to sell that VP03, and I'm not trying to sell it to you guys. And I wouldn't want you guys
to buy a piece of shit.
I wouldn't want you guys to buy it anyway. But if you guys are interested, do you want me to do a video with the Behringer VC340 and compare them? I'm not going to be as good as Starsky, but I just want, if you guys are interested in that, I've been planning on doing that. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see how, someone's probably already done it, but it'd be interesting to see how that one turns out. The 909 was a bit shit too. I never owned it, but that was one of the cases. Triple Eight Berg mentioned it.
I did, because I give it I swapped
Darren,
it for the TR8.
That's right. Yeah, you said you didn't like it. Although the TR08 is actually pretty good.
A lot of people like that.
That's actually pretty good, but the 09 is not. It's weird, isn't it?
So why did they get one right and one so wrong? I mean, I really fancied that TR09, Darren, as well. But now that you've said, I hated it and gave it back. But again, you see a lot of the TR08s around, and people obviously really rated it. It's just I don't
know. the 09 was like, I don't know, I just didn't get along with it, and it just at the end of the day, it was like, you might as well have a TR8. It's a lot more versatile, and it sounds just as good, and it's a lot less fiddly because basically we're getting on a bit like, well, I am. The knobs with them being all close together and you're fiddling and trying to. It just didn't work. And the TR8 is sounds exactly as the same, if not better, as anyway. So, and you've got you've got 808 and 909 samples on there. So,
yeah, we're saying the only good thing about the VPO3, which is that boutique I showed you before, is that you can record little short samples into each step of the sequencer, and via the vocoder, which is a cool trick. But I mean, geez, you can just do that on. I mean, I've got an MPC, just do that on there, and you can actually use a proper sounding one. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a gimmick. But
I'll have to nip out for a second.
Yeah. We're probably going to wrap it up actually. So, because it's like been 2 hours and 40 minutes. Wow, it's a long stream. Yeah. Wait for Andy to come back anyway. But good, we went off on a tangent, didn't we? Talking about boutiques.
Yeah, we always do though.
But I mean, he was right. He was right when he was talking about the SH-01A. It's what started it. He was absolutely spot on. Like, a lot of people said to me, why did you get the MS-101 when you got the SH-01A? And the answer is purely because it was probably sort of like that romantic thing. I just wanted to have an analog replica of an SH. I was never going to spend, I don't know what they go for now, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 Australian on an analog mono synth that is 30-something years old. It's going to break any minute. Like, I'm not going to waste money like that when I don't need it for collecting. I didn't want to buy it for collecting reasons. I wanted to buy it to play. So, but yeah, purely just because I wanted to see what they sound like. Now, I've actually had, so I wrote a track called Cosmos, and you can get that on Spotify. And I did that with the sounds on that with the SH-01A, the digital one. And I tried to re-record that track, even though I've been released and everything. I tried to re-record that track and use the MS-101 to try and get the same sounds out of the envelope with the way I've got the envelope kind of, it kind of sort of dips, and you sort of get that almost like the oscillator sounds like it's bending, but it's not the oscillator, it's the filter doing it. It's an awesome little trick that you can do with the SH-01A, and I can't get it to do it exact on the MS-101. I'd be interested if you could do that on the actual original, because I've never tried, obviously, because I don't have one. But yeah, so there are some subtle differences, and they're just subtle. It's not like, it's not like something that's going to go and ruin your day or anything like that. It's just very, very subtle stuff. But yeah, I was going to say, Andy, we're going to wrap this up because we've been going for about 2 hours and 40-something minutes. It's been a long one. Yeah,
it's been a while. Oh, hey, that long.
Yeah, we should. I mean, I should have, like, if I know I'm going to be this long, I should have brought some beer with me. At least I would have.
I did.
Yeah, I should have, because I actually
I had to nip out.
I haven't had anything to drink the whole stream, so yeah, I'm very thirsty. But yeah, anyway, guys, it's been awesome. So I think we'll end it. And Darren, you're going to have some fun with your circuit today, I'm sure.
I'm going to be having some fun with my circuit, but probably not today because I've got to finish off Hellbox track for tomorrow. It's got to be finished.
Oh, looking forward
and
to
video
that.
out as well. And your sample is the main sort of riff through the whole track, but I've taken it twice and I've reversed it on top of it itself. So you'll still hear yours and it's reversed. So you've got your sample duplicated with a reverse version over the top of that to create this sort of, think of Blade or Hellraiser films in the club scene.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Remember them films? Yeah.
Well,
think of that in the techno.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. All right, so we're going to check out Darren's track. And Andy, what are you going to get up to?
Well, first of all, can I just say thanks to Xils-labs for pinging me that web address. I'll check that out in a minute for those EEPROM updates. Hopefully, I'll be able to get something happening.
Yeah, you should be right with that.
I'm going to get cracking with making some dreary textures to go with photographs of a desolate Sheffield. Is what I've got to get cracking with. So
some drones.
That'll be me. Well, exactly. I know what you were doing on your modular earlier was quite inspiring. That's just sort of the idea of that. And I remember ages ago, like you said, on the back to the Pro One again, that drone switch, flick that drone switch on, and then just turn up the cross modulations and things. You're getting some real interesting sort of textural things there. So that's what I'll be playing with, and I shall, following Darren's tip, make sure I've got record switched on the computer.
Yep, definitely. Don't forget to hit record. Definitely. All right, guys. Well, and we'll thank you very much, all the chatties who have been part of the stream. As always, you guys are what makes the show. Otherwise, we'd be like talking to ourselves, and that's not fun. Not talking to Darren and Andy is not fun, because it is. But don't forget, if you guys want to be part of the show, you can always just ping me a message and come on. I think Xils needs to show his face since he's been contributing pretty deeply into the show.
Yeah, come on, Axel, get yourself on next week.
Got to get him on. I know there's a couple of guys who've been promising to come on, and they've just got to get themselves sorted with camera and mics and things like that. A bit like with you, Andy, with you a couple of months ago. But yeah, it's been good.
Got there in the end, though.
Yeah, so be good, everyone. Hope you have an awesome week. Don't forget to say hi to your mum for me, and we'll catch you later.
Yeah, take care, folks.
Take care, everyone.